Board, the notion of even the putter was labeled as the number 10 club along with its name. Today, clubs are simply numbered and most players have a good idea of your golf to go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
KHTK AM HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your home for the Sacramento Kings.
It's Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Christopher Lott with your Sactown Sports headlines. The day has finally come. The Sacramento Kings have clinched a playoff spot for the first time since 2006 with their 120-80 win over the Portland Trail Blazers. With the win, the Kings not only clinch a playoff spot, but also clinch the 4th seed, which guarantees them home court advantage in the first round of the playoffs. For more news on the Sacramento Kings, check out everything that Kings insider Frankie Cardicelli is posting from Portland right now on SactownSports.com. Today is Major League Baseball's opening day, and the Oakland A's start the season facing off against Shohei Ohtani and the Los Angeles Angels. You can listen to tonight's game with coverage starting at 7 o'clock right here on Sactown Sports. It is 10 o'clock, time to check out Coastside Medical Clinic, who's dedicated to providing breakthrough remedies for men. Now it's time for Chris and Company.
He's born in Sacramento. He's raised in Sacramento.
And now he takes over the airwaves in Sacramento.
It's Chris and Company with Sacramento's Chris Watkins
on Sactown Sports.
Dellavedova holding it. See if he tries to give it up to avoid being credited a turnover or not. He's just going to hold it. And the buzzer sounds to shot clock violation. So the Blazers will get the ball back. We have only 12.8 seconds remaining. And Kings fans, we can see them in all areas of the arena. A lot of purple on their feet, chanting, "Light the beam." Well, in a matter of 5 seconds, it will be lit in Sacramento. The horn sounds, and for the first time in 17 years, 16 seasons of frustration, 16 years of wandering in the desert looking for that oasis, the Kings have finally found the sparkling waters, the palm trees. It's not a mirage, it's the real deal. Sacramento has clinched first round home court advantage in the playoffs that will be starting in a couple of weeks. Tonight's final score is 120-80.
Sacramento, stand up. It is your day. Welcome into Chris & Co. It's your boy Drapes holding it down with my guy, Chris Watkins over here. And it is like a national holiday. Mayor Steinberg should give everybody off. Nobody should be working. We should be in the streets. The Sacramento Kings are headed to the playoffs for the first time since 2006. Wow. And I tell you, Chris, driving in, man, I was like, what am I going to say to the fans? What am I going to say to the fans? And I recorded a video right before I walked in the building. And I looked outside. The sun was shining brighter. Yeah. The birds were chirping. There was no traffic. I wanted to play some Ice Cube. It was a good day. You know what I mean? But here we are. The Kings are in the playoffs for the first time since 2006. Over the next 4 hours, we're going to hear from some of our great fans as well. 916-339-1140. Hit us up on the phone line. We got some great guests. Matt Barnes, the G-Man, Hunter Patterson. It's a celebration. How you doing today, my man?
I'm doing good, man. I had to make sure that, I didn't celebrate too much last night. I had to make sure that I could come in this morning. And I'm super excited to hear what the people have to say. I went on live on Sactown Sports 1140 YouTube page last night after we clinched, and there was just a lot of people, celebrating in different ways. And, it sucks that it was a Wednesday because I know people didn't properly turn up the way that they wanted to. But it's an exciting moment. And it's cliche and everyone's going to say it, but I am honestly and truthfully really excited and happy for the fans because, we've all been waiting so long for this team to get in this position. We've been through so many different things, not just on the floor, but off the floor as well. It's just, I kept saying last night, like, it's not even about necessarily the on the floor drought or, what this team specifically means. It's just people thinking about the past 16 years and all of the games you went to, all the people that you got to experience those with. Sad enough, all the people that aren't here today got to that wanted to see this day for all those years. And, I just think about moments like that and, those kind of situations on a day like today. And, it's exciting. It's not a position that we've been in a very long time. And I'm so happy to be talking to everyone today, the day after the Kings clinch.
It's really like Christmas morning, right? Yeah. Nothing can go wrong at Clinchmas. Nothing can go wrong in our life right now. Right. You can have, you can't tell me nothing. I don't want Warriors fans hollering at me, Lakers fans. I don't want to hear from y'all today. No. This is our day. Yep. And it's interesting because I'm not from Sacramento. Mm-hmm. This is my third season. Right. And I understand 16 years, the drought and all, but to see the emotion from the fans, from Carmichael Dave during the broadcast, Katie Christensen, she was getting choked up. Sum up for me just the emotional aspect of what this means for this franchise.
I'm telling you, it's just it's a culmination of things, and it's so many different emotions in one. It's sadness, it's anger that it took so long a little bit, but it's also just such joy that we've been able to experience all year too. This team has been so fun. Morgan always keeps pointing out that this is not it's not like we limped into this playoff situation and we can enjoy this year, but also there's a looming play. Like, we're really getting to enjoy this season. And to me, that's the emotion. It's just excitement. It's excitement for the future. That's really the emotions that I feel like I felt last night. I know a lot of people, were feeling a different emotion. A lot of people, rightfully so. I think we're in tears last night. But for me, when that, it was really, funny enough, it was a 40-point blowout. Right. So we did get to kind of celebrate a little early, but it was the moment Malik Monk hit a corner three with about 8 minutes to go. They call a timeout after. At that moment, it kind of sunk in. And that's when the excitement hit. And it was just a rush of emotions that I just think everyone's going to feel differently. And I whatever emotion you did feel last night, I can't blame you, because who knows, all the promises. That's what another thing I was thinking about last night is just all the people. How many people 7, 8, 10, 15 years ago were like, you know what, when the Kings make the playoffs next, I'll do X. I'll be sure to be there for game one. I'll get a tattoo. I'll do whatever it is that you say you're going to do. That moment finally came last night, and I know so many people have been waiting for it for so long.
Yeah, and we want to hear from you guys out there, Kings Nation. Hit us up, 916-339-1140. Your Sacramento Kings are going to the postseason. I see everybody on the YouTube channel as well. They're weighing in, Sactown Sports 1140. And, it's interesting about last night's game because the first half, it was sort of sluggish. It was like, why are we keeping these guys in? And then that second half, it was like a party, like you said. Like, it was a party. And I understand we wanted it to happen Monday at home. We wanted it to happen in front of our home crowd. Right. But I thought it was perfect, man. Yeah. At the end of the day, no matter where it happened, against who, it was going to be perfect for Sacramento.
Yep, and that's exactly what De'Aaron said. And I thought it was funny on Monday. It did seem like the guys knew that they missed an opportunity to have that moment with all the fans, but De'Aaron did say it best. He said, it doesn't matter if we're out the country when we clinch. People are going to celebrate, and that was so true. And it did suck a little bit in these past 3 days have been a little tough on Kings fans. I think just the waiting and, just every single night. It's like, is tonight the night that we get to celebrate? Is tonight the night we get to be excited? And of course, the Warriors kind of had to damper both of those times. Right? I know they're just going to be a thorn in our side all year. It's all right. We'll get them back later. But yeah, it was worth the wait, I would say. I definitely don't think I was kind of afraid that maybe, this wait might have dampened, the excitement a little. Maybe people already kind of mentally were there. But no, last night hit, like you said, it was perfect. It was all perfect, and it all played out how it needed to.
And the only thing I wish that was different, I wish we had like a home game tonight,
right,
or something like that. I'm ready to party.
We need to come together
in front of our 18,000 fans.
Absolutely.
We're gonna have to wait till Saturday. Yeah. It's going to be a week-long party.
Oh, it's going to be crazy.
What's crazy is that the Warriors couldn't get it done for us.
Right.
The Clippers won.
I know.
But I love the fact that the Kings had to go out there and earn it.
Yes.
Remember, we only lost one game when we had the chance to clinch.
Right.
And so even though we had to wait 4 or 5 days, it wasn't our fault.
No.
We only had one loss. And I love the fact, like you said, what Morgan said, we didn't back in. We didn't limp in. We didn't need any help.
Yep.
This squad went out there and earned it really right from the opening jump of the season.
Right.
Started 0-4, but the work they put in, I said on the post-game show, when you realize a dream after putting in so much work, and to have it come true, how special is that? It's like
that's the ultimate payoff. That's why you do it. That's literally why you grind. That's why in the summertime when no one's watching, that's when you're crafting your game in the dark gym with one other person in there. That's the payoff was last night. And these guys have fought all season long, like you said. Domas, Fox playing through injury all season long. It's a big reason why this team is in the position they're in, is because these guys wanted this, and they knew that in order to get here, a big part of that was going to be playing games. And that's not something that's common in today's NBA. And these guys, like you said, they completely earned it, and it is pretty poetic or justifiable that they did earn their playoff spot themselves, just by doing that, by earning it themselves, not letting somebody else get it done for you, because that's kind of been the theme of this season is these guys have just done it themselves on a nightly basis.
How did you celebrate last night? I had to drive back from San Francisco, and I was scouring the radio, looking for any kind of post-game coverage, any kind of fan coverage. How did you celebrate last night?
Yeah, I've been sitting on some apple cider. It was some apple cider. I knew I was going to have to come in
17 or something, bro?
It did give me some big kid Thanksgiving vibes for sure, but I was like, I had no open bottles of wine. So I was either like, I can open a bottle of wine myself and that's got to go tonight, or I can have some sparkling cider. I made the responsible decision. I knew we had a marathon today. So I was like, I gotta make sure I show up correct.
Yeah. So, we're just getting started.
Yeah, we got the weekend.
339-1140. We got the whole weekend. Yep. We got Sunday as well. Coming up at 11 o'clock, our guy, Matt Barnes, he's going to be jumping on the show as well. I told you I was driving back from San Francisco, and I wanted to take the long way. I wanted to savor the trip, savor the run. We're going to talk about that coming up in just a minute. Hit us up on Sactown Sports 1140 916-339-1140. You're listening to Chris & Co. with your boy Drapes and Chris Watkins.
It's been 17 years.
17 years.
Right to the hoop, lights it up, around, and in, at the heart.
The Sacramento Kings are finally returning to the NBA playoffs for the first time since 2006.
Yes, indeed.
Where will they finish in the standings?
How deep a run can they make?
Tune into Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. for the most in-depth Kings coverage in the 916.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Breaking news.
Tax refund shock is everywhere, but what is it?
My tax refund shrank.
Mine too.
The culprit? Pandemic-related stimulus payments and tax credits expiring. In this reporter's opinion, you need a tax expert.
Hey guys, Jackson Hewitt guarantees your biggest refund.
And tax prep is 50% off? Going there now.
50% off is a limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
Chris and Company with Chris Watkins on Sactown Sports.
My man Chris relied on the boards delivering for us. It was a good day. It is a good day. Sacramento, this is your day. The Kings heading to the playoffs for the first time since 2006. Drapes, Chris Watkins here with you till 2 o'clock. Coming up, we got our guy Matt Barnes joining the show. Hit us up on the text line, 916-339-1140. You can also call us as well. Sacramento, this is your day. We're going to hear from some fans coming up in a little bit. But let's put this in perspective. What happened last night? 120-80, your final score.
Say it again.
120, I'm going to say it louder. 120-80. A 40-piece on these boys, right? Unbelievable. We knew they were going to win. Let's keep it real.
Yes.
We knew that Portland squad, that G League squad they rolled out, wasn't going to be a match for us. But the Kings got it done. And for the first time in 17 years, they're going to the playoffs. And let's look back at 2006. What were you, like 4, 5, something like that?
I was born in 95, so quick math is 11.
Bro.
Yeah.
You're a 90s baby?
Yeah, 95.
I got you by 2 decades. It's all good. It's not about that, though. It's not about that. But let's look back at 2006.
Let's do it.
De'Aaron Fox, 8 years old.
Crazy.
Think about it. Mike Brown, he was coaching the Cavs.
First time.
He was coaching. He was a young rookie, coach.
Crazy.
Mike Bibby led the squad in points, and Chris Webber was a Philadelphia 76ers.
What do you remember about that Chris Webber era of 76ers basketball, right?
I just remember the knee injury. It was
right.
Don't get me started on Sixers getting big men and trading for people. They get to Philly and then their careers fall off. I love you, C-Web, but that's a sore subject for me, Chris Webber as a Sixer. But no, man, I just remember in 2006, I was working in Louisville, Kentucky.
Wow.
I was a young pup. At this time of year, I was getting ready for the Kentucky Derby. And I just remember in the early 2000s, Sacramento being the most difficult place to play in the entire association. That was one place as an opponent you did not want to go to. And now, not only the fact that the Kings made the playoffs, they're hosting at least one series.
I know.
This is one of the greatest turnarounds in the history of sports, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially when, again, like we just said, it's not that it's just so improbable too. Like this just doesn't happen. You don't go from, what were they, 13th in the West last year to 3rd. That doesn't happen. You typically, you gotta make, cross some benchmarks along the way. You have a season where you sneak into the play-in late, bottom seed of the playoffs, 7, 8, 6 seed. You don't jump to the 3 seed after being bad for 16 years. That's just not how it happens. And especially for, there's for sure, you can point at the addition of Kevin Huerter, Malik Monk, Mike Brown coming here, Keegan Murray being drafted, but this is a brand new team. You usually got to take some time to grow. It doesn't happen overnight. So the fact that they just turned it around so quick, it's almost perfect because, if they were to have slow grinded this, it wouldn't have felt so good. Right. It wouldn't have felt so right. And it's just great that this team, that they had the season they had.
I compare this sort of to the Phoenix Suns a few years back, but the difference is Phoenix showed signs in the bubble.
Right? They went 7-0 in the bubble.
They went perfect in the bubble and then bounced back and had a great season. This Sacramento Kings team came out of nowhere. And I credit multiple people.
Right.
Got to give Mike Brown his due. Yeah. He's going to be the coach of the year. Mark it down. He has to be. It would be blasphemous if he wasn't. But give Monte McNair credit.
Right.
I remember the trade deadlines last season when they traded away Tyrese Halliburton. Right. Some fans out there were wondering, what are we doing?
Yep. Malpractice.
Exactly. But now Monte McNair is like the godfather. He's sitting back. He's in that chair saying, trust me, young fella, I got this.
Right.
And now, whether it's Monty, Wes, even Vivek.
Yes.
He can get his flowers too.
Please.
Like from top to bottom, this organization is in the limelight, in the spotlight for all the right things.
Right. And yeah, you mentioned Vivek there. I know Kings fans have had an up and down relationship with Vivek in his time as the team's governor, but you have to give him his credit where credit's due. Like he has been criticized heavily for just the amount of what's the term I'm looking for? Being too involved in the process on the floor. And to his credit, making a move like trading Tyrese Halliburton, somebody who's a fan favorite, somebody who you just took. The Kings have to say checkered is an understatement, checkered history of failed draft picks. For them to finally get somebody, hit on somebody at that number 12 spot, and then for Vivek to give Monty the leeway to do with this roster truly whatever he pleases, that's a big step for not only that's a big step for any owner, but that's a big step for Vivek. Like I mentioned, somebody who is kind of known and notorious for having a little bit too much input on the basketball side. So I mean, credit goes all the way through, but that's also something Mike Brown talked about in his intro press conference was vertical alignment from head to toe. And to his credit, he has absolutely gone through with that promise.
Hey, I'm checking you guys out on the YouTube channel. Thanks for chatting with us.
Absolutely.
Hit us up 916-339-1140. The Sacramento Kings going to the playoffs. Yo, I'm telling you what, people are throwing you darts out here on this YouTube channel right now. What did you do to people?
It's a Wednesday, y'all. I could not, like I said at the top of the show, I could not properly turn up the way that you would want to turn up. Please don't kill me for having some cider. But yeah, man, it's just been such a great season.
Yeah.
And again, like I feel like I'm gonna say it 30 times. This is all about the fans and for everybody who had to struggle, who paid tickets for these past 16 years, believing in this team, watching this team, even when it wasn't popular to support this team. People have been there through and through. And I've seen teams that win 28 games have packed Arco Arena stands. So these fans have been through the worst of it, and they deserve the absolute best.
Exactly. And we got Matt Barnes, who's a lifelong Kings guy, grew up here in Sacramento. We're going to be talking to him. We're going to be talking to G-Man hopefully today at noon. And then Hunter Patterson of The Athletic covers the Sacramento Kings. That's at 1:00. Here we are, 6 games left to go. What are you looking forward to these last 6 games? Is it the march towards 50 right now?
Yeah, right.
You know, if you're Mike Brown and the Kings, do you push for 50 wins on the season?
Yeah, that's going to be the interesting thing is how they approach the rest of this season because, I mean, benchmark number 1 is done. They've made it clear that making the playoffs wasn't their goal. Like you said, 50 wins is this team's goal. Do they continue to roll their main guys out on a nightly basis and try and get that 50 wins? I'm not sure, but I'm going to be looking – and I talked about it a little bit yesterday with Brendan Nunez on Chris and Company, but I'm going to be looking a lot at Kessler Edwards. I think this is a potential time. Kessler Edwards and Terrence Davis, as a matter of fact. I think those two are the guys that could potentially lock themselves into some rotation minutes, but, I think that they just kind of need to play well and they need to, get hot at the right time because those are the two guys that I feel like are on the fringe of a playoff rotation, and Mike just kind of needs to be able to trust them yet. Though we're 76 games in now, it might be too late. I don't know.
Chris, that's what I'm saying.
Like
as much as I'm excited about the future for the Kings, I'm pumped for this playoff spot. Shouldn't we already know?
Right.
Like,
I think so.
76 games in, we should know. And I think, what we saw these last few games, whether it's Alex Lynn getting some minutes,
absolutely.
Rashawn Holmes. I think Mike Brown is these last few games telling guys, this is your final audition for the postseason.
Absolutely.
What can you give me? And I thought Alex Lynn last night, started off a little slow. And then I thought he had a couple of huge plays, got the defensive player of the game chain. So maybe against the Minnesota, when you need extra size, Alex Lynn is that guy that gets minutes.
I think that's super interesting that he's gone with Alex these last 2 games. And I kind of hypothesized that maybe it was just like Mike Brown rewarding his guy who hasn't gotten much playoff time much playing time this year. But this is 76 games in, has been grinding with this team all season long. And, we don't see what happens in practice and all that stuff. Feels like Alex has been a consummate pro this entire season. So I wondered if it was just, kind of Mike Brown giving it, not, handing out favors or anything, but just rewarding Alex for his work all season. Right. And to your last point, I do think the Kings do have that opening kind of at backup center. There is definitely an opportunity for Alex to get into that role. I think, especially like you're mentioning, against longer teams, we've seen that length has really given this Kings team problem. So it will be interesting to see if, maybe Mike is still tweaking with things a little bit here as the season is coming down to a close.
All right, we're going to get to your phone calls as well throughout the next couple of hours. 916-339-1140. Hit us up, Chris and Co. with your boy Drapes right here. And, so much talk has been about you rest versus rust.
Right.
And Mike Brown has never at once this season let his foot off the gas pedal.
Nope.
Does he do it now, though? Fox is banged up a little bit, got the hamstring, got the wrist. Domantas Sabonis with the hand as well.
Right.
I would give these guys a game off or at least limit their minutes because what you don't want to happen is an injury these last few games. Right now, to me, the goal should be getting to the playoffs as healthy as possible.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, that's how I feel. I think it's great that they have that 50-game benchmark that they're aiming for. But to me, it's you got the job done. You're pretty secure in that you already locked up a home court advantage in that first round. To me, this should kind of be the time where you're taking the foot off the gas a little. Let De'Aaron kind of play under 30 minutes. Please let Domantas Sabonis play under 30 minutes. That guy has been putting in work, it feels like, the past 2 weeks with his minutes load. Yeah, get your guys healthy. Make sure, there's a lot of nicks and bruises that these guys have picked up throughout the season. Let your guys get healthy. But also at the same time, and I know Mike Brown's going to do this, you got to make sure that those guys at the same time are too rested. Like you're saying, rest versus rust. You can't be rusty in that first playoff game. You got to make sure that you still are carrying the momentum from the season.
And you're going to have about a week off.
Yeah.
In between the regular season and the start of the playoffs.
Absolutely.
So, all right, we got much more on Chris and Co. coming up in just a bit. Don't forget, my guy Matt Barnes at the top of the hour, 11 o'clock. Your phone calls on the way. Plus, Keegan Murray made some history last night. We got to give Keegan his flowers. We'll do that after this timeout.
It's been 17 years.
17 years.
Right to the hoop, lights it up, around, and in, that's a hard.
The Sacramento Kings are finally returning to the NBA playoffs for the first time since 2006.
Yes, indeed.
Where will they finish in the standings?
How deep a run can they make?
Tune into Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. for the most in-depth Kings coverage in the 916.
It's March, and you know what that means. Taxes are almost due. Jackson Hewitt can help you win tax season. That's the sound of your maximum tax refund. The sound of getting 50% off tax prep. The sound of many of our competitors' prices going up. And the sound of getting to your nearest Jackson Hewitt. Hurry in for 50% off tax prep before this offer expires April 9th. Limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area. At its own discretion, persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit KHTK.com.
I had a nighttime routine for my frequent heartburn. I would drink milk, I would sleep upright with more pillows, but that painful burning stayed. So I made Prilosec OTC part of my morning routine. With just 1 pill each morning, Prilosec OTC prevents excess acid production, blocking heartburn day and night. Now I have a new nighttime routine. I call it sleeping.
1 pill a day, 24 hours, 0 heartburn. With Prilosec OTC. It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We can get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we can take care of that free of charge. But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $79.99. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
ACR Solar and Home Services is here to help you, just like they helped me. Jason Ross here, and ACR did a great job for my family, bringing their impeccable reputation and great workmanship to keep my family covered with a brand new roof. Now we're comfortable and dry during Sacramento's rainy season, knowing our home's structural integrity is protected. Our value has increased, and the home itself, well, it's looking and functioning at its best. The proof, it's in our roof. Now, you could get the same quality experience with ACR Solar and Home Services. Just go to acrsolar.com now to sign up for a free estimate and see all that they have to offer. not only to protect your home and family during the cold and wet Sacramento weather, but also including premium made in the USA solar electric systems. That's ACRSolar.com. ACR Solar and Home Services is bringing us all the highest quality, highest value, and integrity since 1979. Go to ACRSolar.com. That's ACRSolar.com.
Ace fans need Friday night plans? Well, we got you covered. Get 4 tickets and parking for any Friday night game starting at just $49 with the Friday 4-pack presented by Chevrolet. Save big and enjoy great matchups, post-game fireworks and drone shows, giveaways, and more this 2023 season.
He drills one to right, way back, and no doubt, and that quickly the A's have taken the lead. Second deck.
Friday night tickets are available at athletics.com/value. That's athletics.com/value.
Hi, I'm Mario, owner of Attic Man Heating and Air Conditioning. We are experiencing beautiful weather in Sacramento, which means this is the best time of year to complete any of that HVAC work you've been meaning to get done. Attic Man Heating and Air is a trained dealer. At Attic Man, we're currently offering over $6,000 in rebates for new HVAC systems, and the best deals of the year are happening right now. Visit our 5-star Yelp page or book online at atticmanhvac.com. That's atticmanhvac.com.
Sactown Sports
Headlines.
I'm Chris Relod with your Sactown Sports headlines. The day has finally come. The Sacramento Kings have clinched a playoff spot for the first time since 2006 with their 120-80-point win over the Portland Trailblazers. With the win, the Kings not only clinch a playoff spot, but also clinch the 4th seed, which guarantees them a home court advantage in the first round of the playoffs. For more news on the Sacramento Kings, check out everything that Kings insider Frankie Cardicelli is posting from Portland, Oregon on SactownSports.com. Today is Major League Baseball's opening day, and the Oakland A's start the season facing off against Shohei Ohtani and the Los Angeles Angels. You can listen to the games starting with coverage starting at 7 o'clock right here on Sactown Sports. And now it's time for more of Chris and Company with Kyle Draper.
Sitting at your desk, watch Chris and Company now. YouTube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
My man Chris Brelad behind the boards. You are on fire today, dude. That's what kind of day it is, though. We are celebrating here in Sacramento on Chris & Co. with your boy Drapes and Chris Watkins. Hit us up on the phone lines, 916-339-1140. Sacramento, it is your day. The Kings are going to the playoffs for the first time since 2006. But that's not the only history that was made last night. Can we give our guy Keegan Murray some flowers? Hit 3 threes last night, set the record for most three-pointers made by a rookie in a single season. And I think what's so amazing about this record, Chris, is the names he passed up along the way.
Right.
Whether it's Steph Curry or Dame Lillard or Donovan Mitchell. You're talking about future Hall of Famers.
Right.
And here this guy is just showing us a glimmer, just a slim thing that he can do for us. And it's been a tremendous year for the rookie.
Yeah, no, I keep saying it, and it sounds crazy, and it sounds wrong every time I say it. But Keegan Murray has now made the most threes of any rookie in NBA history. But also, at the same time, no rookie has ever taken 400-plus three-point attempts and shot over 40%.
Wow.
Keegan Murray is at 40.7%. So when you put those two things together, and again, I keep saying it, and it keeps sounding wrong, Keegan Murray has had the greatest rookie shooting season in NBA history.
You can't, the numbers say it. You can't dispute the numbers.
You can't. I mean, if you make the most and you shoot it at the most efficient clip, especially taking that many shots, it's just a fact at that point that you know, say what you will about how he got it. Clearly, Donovan Mitchell, Dame Lillard, Steph Curry, they take their threes in a lot different ways. But what Keegan, I mean, it's what Keegan does. That is his specialty, is being a sharpshooter, and he has proven that he has had the best sharpshooting season of anybody in NBA history. And it's crazy to just think of Keegan's journey throughout this season and how, you know, when he was taken, I feel like there was a good majority or a good piece, at least I won't say a majority, a good piece of Kings fans that were upset. They really wanted Jaden Ivey. They wanted, or they just didn't really want Keegan Murray. But Keegan has, to his credit, he's been a professional. He's the most veteran rookie I've ever seen in my life. So yeah, it's just good to see Keegan be able to perform the way he did. I know he's probably been doubted his whole life. I mean, this is a guy who came out as a junior. He had to put his time, or I'm sorry, after his sophomore season,
sophomore campaign.
He had to put his time in college, and he really got better in college and has continually gotten better throughout his career. So like you said, big shout out Keegan Murray. I don't think a lot of Kings fans expected him to have this kind of impact this soon. So huge shout out to him and just what it means for his future, because it's going to be big.
I think Keegan, and listen up, Sacramento Kings fans, embodies what we want as a franchise. Hear me out on this. I understand all season long we've been begging for national games. Right. We want to be on national TV. But if I'm a Sacramento Kings fan, I want to be that blue-collar squad. Yeah. We don't have to be sexy as long as we get the job done. Right. And Keegan Murray, no offense, Keegan, you're my guy. You're not sexy, bro. He's just not a sexy guy, right? But his game speaks for itself. You mentioned better than 40% from three. He's going to be first team all rookie.
Yes.
And here's the thing. He's not getting the pub as a Paolo or a Jalen Williams out in OKC or some of these. But for this team and for this franchise, there's no rookie I would rather have on this team.
Boom. And that is exactly what why Monty McNair needs to get a lot of flowers for this as well, because I think a lot, like I mentioned, I think a lot of people had a lot of different ideas for the way that this team should go. I even personally thought that this team, when you're picking at the number 4 spot, my philosophy was you have to go for a star at that spot. Like, very rarely are you in a position where you are in have the ability to get somebody, that's top 5 is where
hit on that.
That's where your stars are taken. And so that's, for me, I understand why people were wanting Jaden Ivey. It felt like Ivey had a little bit more of that star potential, but just like you said right there, it wasn't about getting the star potential. Monty McNair had a vision for this team before any of us even knew it. And Keegan is like you said, he's just perfect for what this team needed this season and what he's been able to provide for this team this season, which is credit to both Monty and Keegan, because Keegan easily could have under promised. Yes. He definitely could have he could have underperformed this season, and he has stepped up in every single way, even when people doubted him, even though, I mean, he's had some up and downs throughout this rookie season, and he's bounced back every single time and not let anything faze him, which, if you see Keegan, that's who he probably should have seen that coming, right?
Did you see when he hit the 3 and broke the record? There was like a 48% smile right there. I wouldn't even give him a half smile. That was like 48, 49%. But that was a huge moment for him, and to do it on a night your team clinches a playoff spot is great. I was talking to his dad recently, and the thing that's scary about Keegan Murray, and this is his dad saying this, so I know he's going to hype up his son. He's saying he has so much more to offer. Like, we haven't even seen the best of Keegan Murray and what he can do.
Right.
We know he can shoot the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see his playmaking.
Yes.
I think that's the next step.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see the rebounding, the defending. And his dad says he has all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, when you look at these draft picks by Monty McNair, he's hit on them. Whether it's Tyrese, Davion is a solid NBA player. Keegan, to me, is going to be an all-star at some point. And it's scary to believe that here you're talking about a rookie, greatest rookie shooting season ever, and he hasn't scratched the surface of what he could become.
Yeah, that's definitely the exciting thing, and that's where Keegan's potential is limitless, because we really have only seen one aspect of his game, and we don't really know if that's because that's all he's comfortable doing right now, which I think there is a piece of that, because we have seen him kind of slowly bring things out throughout this year. We saw him, for a good majority of or portion of this season, he was pretty much just a spot up shooter.
Yeah.
And then kind of in the middle of the season, we started to see him put the ball on the ground a little. We started to see him have the confidence to start attacking the rim himself. Just seeing those things as he develops, I think he has a lot more that he can just tighten up. If his ball hand, if he could, get some handle over the offseason, I'm curious what that would do to his game. And just overall confidence. I think at some point, when you're a rookie, it's all new. It's flying by. It happens so fast. I'm curious what, what does season 5 look for Keegan Murray when he's comfortable in his own skin, comfortable in what he can do on the floor. And, maybe at some point he feels overconfident, which would be a nice turn of thing. And not that I don't think he's confident. I just think he kind of has a reserved nature for him. I want to see, and I think Mike Brown has asked of him a lot. Let's see, get a little wiggle to him, right? I want to see Keegan kind of get loose and see him enjoy himself out there.
Hey, 916-339-1140. Hit us up. You could call us. You could text us, 916-339-1140. I was talking to his dad. I mentioned that. And I said, you look at Jaden Ivey, look at Matherin, you look at Paolo, all these other guys, they get in their bag. They're putting on the show.
For sure.
And his dad said, Keegan doesn't have a bag. So that wiggle and jiggle you're looking for, I don't know if it's going to come.
Yeah,
it might not come.
Might be asking the wrong guy.
Exactly. But he did say, growing up, he taught his kids, Keegan and Chris, the quickest way to get to the basket is a straight line.
Straight line drive.
And straight line drive. And that's what we're seeing from Keegan Murray, who now stands alone as the greatest rookie shooter in NBA history.
Crazy.
Come on, man.
As a Sacramento
King.
What a
season. We got much more coming up. It's Chris and Co. with your boy Drapes and Chris Watkins. Coming up in about 20 minutes, we got our guy Matt Barnes. Don't forget, hit us up, 916-339-1140. Coming up after this short timeout, we will look ahead to the playoffs. Any favorable matchups you'd like to see the Kings go up against? We'll discuss that coming up next on Chris and Co.
It's been 17 years.
17 years.
Back to the hoop, lays it up, around, and in, at the horn.
The Sacramento Kings are finally returning to the NBA playoffs for the first time since 2006.
Yes, indeed.
Where will they finish in the standings?
How deep a run can they make?
Tune into Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. for the most in-depth Kings coverage in the 916.
Some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we can take care of that free of charge. But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $79.99. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
There are plenty of reasons to love golf in Northern California. With giant redwoods lining the fairways, the best Alistair McKenzie course you've never played is Northwood Golf Club's 9-holer along the Russian River. The 7th hole at Pebble Beach is a beauty or a beast. Play a sandwich or a 5-iron depending on the direction of the wind. Down the road a bit, Pacific Grove Golf Course sports a gazillion-dollar ocean view and a green fee about 1/10 of Pebble Beach. San Francisco's Presidio Golf Course survived the 1906 earthquake and was home course to President Teddy Roosevelt. In the summer, you can tee it up on the ocean at the links at Bodega Harbor at dawn and tap in at sunset in the mountains at Old Greenwood in Truckee. Unlike Caddyshack's Carl Spackler, a good superintendent goes unnoticed working behind the scenes. Green thumbs up. There's a lot to love about golf, and as columnist Thomas Boswell wrote, when you fall in love with golf, you seldom fall easy. It's obsession at first sight. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all areas. Actual Pi customer.
As a small business, we're always looking for ways that we can offer the quality product and get some cost savings.
Meet Michelle from J.J. Pfister Distilling Company, a small business in California. When looking for workers' comp coverage tailored to the company's needs, she discovered Pi Insurance.
We heard about Pi Insurance being geared for a small business, gave Pi a call, and ended up switching.
Is your small business overpaying for workers' comp insurance? See how much you could save at trypi.com. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate, so your workers' comp audit experience is simplified.
We saved about 30% off of our workers' comp insurance when we switched to Pi.
It's as easy as pie to get the savings you deserve. What are you waiting for? Ask your agent for pie, or get a quote in 3 minutes at trypie.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
Jiffy Lube's Country in the Park, Northern California's biggest country music festival of the year, is back May 5th and 6th at Cal Expo, starring Lady A, Chris Young, Brett Eldridge, and so many more. Plus, a Boots Boot and Line Dance Saloon, interactive lounges, and Sacramento's best food trucks. Weekend passes start at just $85. Tickets are on sale now at SactownSports.com. Country in the Park, brought to you by Attic Man Heating and Air Conditioning, Bill Eats RV, and Naughty Wood Barbecue.
Keeping you company with the company. It's Chris and Company with Chris Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
We are back, Chris and Co. with your boy Drapes and Chris Watkins. Coming up on 11 o'clock, Matt Barnes will be joining us as we celebrate your Sacramento Kings making the playoffs for the first time since 2006. In just a minute, we are going to break down potential playoff matchups. Who do you want to see? And who do you want to avoid? I want you to sit on that for a minute, Chris, because I got some opinions. I'm of the belief that bring them all on. Let's go. I'm ready for the smoke with everybody. It doesn't matter. Bring on Golden State, Minnesota. We ready.
Hey, man, you're a lot more brave than I. I'll tell you what, I look around at some of the other teams in this Western Conference, and I believe in this Sacramento Kings team. I think that they can definitely give a lot of teams a lot of fits in this postseason. But, man, I'm a little nervous. I can't lie. Phoenix still makes me nervous. KD comes back last night. I know he didn't look too sharp in his return, but Phoenix scares me, man. Phoenix scares me. Timberwolves, just with what they've been able to do with this team this year, I think they're not the same team that they were with D'Angelo Russell, that they are with Mike Conley. I love Mike Conley, especially in a playoff series. He's the exact kind of point guard you want at the helm. Just feels like he always knows where the ball needs to go and is always making smart decisions. So Minnesota makes me nervous too, but after that, I'm willing to take on all competitive. Give me Golden State. Okay. Who else is in the Clippers?
You want the Clippers. You want that smoke.
I don't mind the Clippers. I think the Kings took the Clippers heavyweight shot earlier this season in that double overtime game. And yeah, not every game is going to go that perfectly, but in that game, I really saw that this team could hang with the Clippers team. The Clippers are really deep, and that's definitely the concern. And, with a potential, who knows what Paul George's health status will be come postseason. But I like the way that the Kings have played the Clippers this year. And there's another team that's kind of on that bubble.
Kind of lurking. Well. Hey, the Lakers are trending.
Lakers I'll tell you what, Lakers make me nervous. They do make me nervous. I just don't want to play LeBron. And, they have D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell is an absolute joke defensively, and I would love watching D'Angelo Russell play defense is one of my favorite things in the NBA because it's actually hilarious to watch him just how hard he tries to not play defense. So I'm okay with playing the Lakers in that standpoint, but the addition of Jared Vanderbilt, Anthony Davis, LeBron James,
they're a much deeper, improved team right now.
If I can avoid that in a playoff series, I'll let somebody else take care of that. Okay, that's just how I feel. But New Orleans as well. New Orleans is a team they're kind of up and down, and the King they took it to the Kings earlier this season when they didn't have De'Aaron. But the Pelicans also have just a lot of length, and they have a couple guys.
If they ever got back Zion, I would be afraid. If right? That's the big question with them. Exactly. 916-339-1140. We'll ask Matt Barnes about potential playoff matchups coming up at the top of the hour. We got a couple calls right now. Let's go to Ted on line one on the day that the Sacramento Kings are celebrating making the postseason. What's up, Ted? How you doing, man?
How's it going, fellas?
Good.
Been listening to all the new formats. Love all the new approaches to what you're doing.
Appreciate
it. And I've been since a young teen when the Kings moved here. I was in the 10,333 building when Larry Bird missed the 2 free throws. Said we were stupid fans for cheering for rebounds because we were so new to the NBA. And, so I remember all the insults from the very beginning. I was there in '96 when we rattled Seattle in that game 3, 15-minute standing ovation before the game started.
Yes.
So I've had some epic moments that I'll always remember, even though we've never done anything, when we couldn't get past the Lakers in the Game 6 debacle. And, so I've seen it all, and I've seen my kids suffer and look at me. And, I have a 16-year-old that's like, the Kings are awful. She's just never known them to be good. And so this is just special for me to get back in the mix again. And obviously we want to be there as a perennial playoff team, the way we always thought we were going to be when we had Vlade and Weber and Peja and the crew and Doug. And we always thought we were going to be in the mix, and it happened that way, for a few years. And then when it stopped, it was like, what? I thought we were going to make the playoffs with
Every
Cousins,
year,
even though he was surly and everything like that. But, one thing I just want to say is I'm thrilled about it. But last night after the post-game stuff, I was so fired up and watching all you guys talk about the win. And I know we were on the road, and it wasn't like doing it at home. And we won by 40 when it looked like it was going to be a nail-biter in the first half. I mean, we had a monster second half. And everybody's thrilled about it. But when I switched over to ESPN and they restart their show, we weren't even in the mix. I don't even know when we came on. And it's like, I know we didn't do it at home and it wasn't a great shot for their cameras, but it's like all they wanted to talk about was Durant.
Back, Anthony Davis. And Ted, appreciate the call, man. Go Kings. Let's light this beam. Keep it going. Ted, a diehard fan. Appreciate his loyalty. Man. But Ted makes a great point. I'm driving in, and I'm searching the radio.
Right.
Obviously, I'm listening to Carmichael Dave, but I'm also listening to NBA radio on Sirius XM. Really not a mention of the Sacramento Kings. And it frustrates me. And I'm like, here we are clinching the playoffs for the first time since 2006, and the respect still isn't there.
I know.
It's mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, and this is not just a basketball story. It's not just an NBA story. It's not just a Sacramento story. This is the longest playoff drought in the 4 major American sports at the time, and it's being snapped. That deserves to lead your show at least, man. Can I at least get a graphic made or something? Right. Come on,
breaking news alert on the bottom or something like that, right?
It's and it's typical. We should come to expect this as Kings fans. We know that national media really doesn't show much love and attention. But yeah, man, come on. I also got from that he got a 16-year-old kid. He's got a drought baby.
Think about that, right?
That your kid has
never seen the Sacramento Kings
just absolutely
this good.
Insane.
916-339-1140. Let's get to Avery online too, as the Kings are getting ready for the playoffs. What's up, Avery?
What up, Chris?
Oh, this your
guy
up,
right
Avery?
here. This
what up?
This
This
your
is
brother
live
or
from
something?
Chicago, former roommate. What up, Avery?
Hey, man. I just came on. You know, we hype, bro. We hype, man. But I came on to give my boy Chris his flowers.
Stop it.
I'm happy for you, bro. To be able to talk about this, be on the air, man. Like, it's crazy, dude. It's crazy. But hey,
perfect timing.
I know, right?
Bro, well, I mean, Chris knows this, but I just moved to Chicago at the beginning of the year, and I told all my friends, I said, look, I'll do what I got to do. If it means I got to move across the country for the Kings to make the playoffs, I'll do it, baby.
Thank you, bro. We appreciate your sacrifice.
I know we had to exile him, right? Send him to Chicago to get it done.
We lost a good man, man. Let me tell you, we lost a good one in Avery. But, bro, we appreciate your sacrifice. And I know you were at that Bulls game the other day when De'Aaron hit that game winner. So we appreciate that juju.
I was trying to get down to Mark and Katie after the game. I couldn't get there, man. But that was crazy. I was screaming at the Bulls game.
Yeah.
Hey, I just wanted to say, look, as far as the playoffs goes, first of all, beggars can't be choosers. I didn't care where we clinched the playoffs. Like, I just wanted to see the Kings make the playoffs, right? And so as far as who we play, I kind of in the same boat as you, Chris. I think the Clippers, I'll take the Clippers because the injury problems, they got a lack of continuity. Yeah. I'm not too worried about them. Now, what I will say is I do not want that Golden State smoke, bro. Like,
come on, man. They can't win on the road. They can't win outside
man.
of Chase.
You don't understand, though. It's going to be a home court advantage for them in Golden 1 because the bandwagoners have come out of the woodwork for them over the last.
No, you're right.
Man.
You're
We gotta
right.
deal with all that.
Hey, Avery, man, we got to run, man. We got to get
Appreciate
to
you,
a
bro.
break. And next time, man, come correct with some Chris Watkins stories. I want some old Chris stories from the roommate days. You know what I mean? Because I know this guy got some. We appreciate you, Avery. Thanks for
All right,
holding
bro.
it down.
Can't wait for you to come
in
back and we can
Chicago.
celebrate, bro.
Yes, sir. 916-339-1140. The Chris and Co. Show with Drapes and Chris Watkins.
Matt Barnes.
Matt
next.
Barnes coming up after this timeout.
It's been 17 years.
17 years.
Back to the hoop, lights it up, around, and in, at the horn.
The Sacramento Kings are finally returning to the NBA playoffs for the first time since 2006.
Yes, indeed.
Where will they finish in the standings?
How deep a run can they make?
Tune into Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. for the most in-depth Kings coverage in the 916.
If the sticker price markups that new car dealers are demanding are scaring you away from a brand new vehicle, you can still get the vehicle you want and save thousands at M&S Auto on El Camino right off the Cap City Freeway. M&S Auto has literally hundreds of gently used but beautiful Silverados, Rams, and Tacomas. And if you love muscle cars, they've got Challengers and Mustangs too. M&S Auto Sales. Great cars and trucks and fair deals every day. Come and get yours. MSAutogroup.com.
Beach Bar Rum, Santo, and Sammy's Beach Bar Cocktail present Sammy Hagar and the Circle. Friday, July 14th, the Lake Tahoe Outdoor Arena at Harvey's. The party you don't want to miss. Sammy Hagar. Tickets on sale Friday, March 31st at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com and 8concerts.com. Don't miss Sammy Hagar and the Circle.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave telling you something you already know, which is your time is important. That's why at American Energy Heat and Air, they make shopping for a new furnace or air conditioner easier with their new online quoting tool. All you got to do is go to AmericanEnergyAir.com and get an instant quote now, today. Do it right now. It'll help you determine what system you'll need to get and provide the best pricing options, all from the comforts of your home. You don't have to have somebody come out and walk around your house and blah, blah, blah. Just do the quoting tool. It's so easy. AmericanEnergyAir.com. Check out how easy it can be. A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. I absolutely love these folks. 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com, making the uncomfortable comfortable.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Hi, guys. It's Mark with Coastside Medical Clinic. Are you struggling with ED and sick of the pills? Well, we have a major medical advancement that has helped thousands of men. Our WAVE technology is backed by 60 clinical studies, including from Cambridge University. It's been shown to increase blood flow by repairing blood vessels. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED, call us now. And not only will the assessment and blood flow ultrasound be free, but we'll also include something unique that produces powerful results. You're going to love that one, guys. Trust me. This unprecedented offer is worth $600, but it's free to those who call in the next 2 minutes. Call 916-603-2000. That's 916-603-2000. Guys, put a stop to your ED and get your life back. Call Coastside Medical Clinic now to qualify. 916-603-2000. That's 916-603-2000.
It's time to get your wallet back in top condition. Talkin' Money with Jeff Tarbell is back. Saturdays, 10 a.m. right here on Sactown Sports.
Talkin' Money!
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
KHTKAM HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. Your home for the biggest matchups in the NFL. Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports
Headlines.
I'm Chris Relod with your Sactown Sports headlines. The day has finally come. The Sacramento Kings have clinched a playoff spot for the first time since 2006 with their 120 to 80 point win over the Portland Trail Blazers. With the win, the Kings not only clinch a playoff spot, but also clinch the 4th seed, which guarantees them a home court advantage in the first round of the playoffs. For more news on the Sacramento Kings, check out everything that Kings insider Frankie Cardicelli is posting from Portland on SactownSports.com. Today is Major League Baseball's opening day, and the Oakland A's start the season facing off against Shohei Ohtani and the Los Angeles Angels. You can listen to tonight's game with coverage starting at 7 right here on Sactown Sports. Those are your headlines. Now more with Chris and Company with Kyle Draper and our guest, Matt Barnes.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Live and local, it's Chris and Company with Chris Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Welcome back to Chris and Co. Your boy Drapes and Chris Watkins. Chris Relod on the boards, on the keys. I tell you what, I got a theme going right here, right? All celebration songs, right? And it's that kind of day for the Sacramento Kings as they are headed to the postseason for the first time since 2006. We're going to take more of your calls coming up in a little bit, 916-339-1140. But it is my pleasure right now to welcome in a former Sacramento King, a native of Sacramento, my guy, Matt Barnes. You can see him as he hosts his podcast, All the Smoke. You can see him on NBC Sports California on the pregame, halftime, and postgame show. Matt, thanks for jumping on, man. It's Drapes and Chris.
Fellas, thanks for having me. How you guys doing today?
Good, man. Appreciate it, dude. The sun is out. The birds are chirping. It's a great day to be in Sacramento. So the Kings are going to the playoffs, first time since 2006. What do you think this means, man? What does this mean to you as a native Sacramentine?
It's important. As we spoke about last night on the postgame show, it just means so much to the city. And I think that's what makes me more happy than anything. Obviously, very proud of the guys that accomplished the feat, and Mike Brown and management for putting this team together, and Vivek and the whole crew. But I just know how much it means to the town, to the city, and what kind of fans we have out there. So I'm just really excited that they get to get a taste of this postseason madness, and the world gets to see again, why Sacramento has some of the best fans in sports.
What's up, Matt? You were a part of that C-Web trade that sent him to Philly. What were the emotions like, not only for him, but just around the team when that happened? And did you feel like at that time, I mean, you were a season away or the Kings were a season away from starting their 16-year playoff drought. Did it feel like the Kings were kind of shifting to a different era at that point?
It was just a horrible feeling. Like he nor I wanted to go to Philly. I remember he said he had a no trade clause, so he could have X'd the trade, but he felt like, if they don't want me here, why am I going to stay? You know what I mean? So obviously he took it hard after, all he did for Sacramento and re-signing and being able to put the franchise on his back. And again, not trying to speak for him, but he just felt a little slighted, so we were off to Philly, and it was crazy. But just looking back, I mean, obviously those were the golden days of the Kings. Rick Adelman and who was the GM at the time? I forgot his name.
Jeff Petrie. Yeah.
Petrie. I mean, they had put together, a very talented roster, and were able to get Chris Webber there and keep him there for a handful of years, and had some really special moments out there. I think thanks to the referees and a little bit to do with the Lakers, I think their championship aspirations were cut short, over some mischievous calls and situations. But I just remember back then I was, before that I was in college and being in LA and being able to see the fandom in Sacramento and, represent, being a fan of both, but, being from Sacramento, representing the Kings down in LA, and that was no easy task. So it just, 16 years later, it's just beautiful to see that, this team is back with a new identity, a new foundation, and a bunch of good, solid young players that I hope that they'll just continue to build with this core moving forward.
Matt, one of the things I appreciate about you is when I see you on ESPN, you're riding and dying for Sacramento. You're down with the Kings through thick and thin, obviously a native of Sacramento. And I think what this playoff drought coming to an end means for Sacramento is we're no longer the butt of jokes. Sure, people had their fun for the last 16 years, but you got to respect this team. Greatest offense in NBA history when it comes to offensive rating. Great coach, 2 all-stars on the squad, an all-rookie player on the team. This is a legitimate franchise and a legitimate team and a legitimate playoff contender. And so now all those people that had fun at our expense, whether it be Lakers fans, Warriors fans, whoever, they got to shut up right now. It's our day right now, Matt.
Definitely, but I think, Kyle, just like I'm sure always having a player's mind, I feel like they're thinking this is just the beginning. Obviously it's a great accomplishment to get there. But now this new group of Kings knows the only way they're going to make their name is doing something there. Obviously, I think this year more than any year, they started getting the national attention, with myself and Mark Spears and, some other guys being able to talk about them on the national level because they deserved it. But I think, again, obviously, I think Mike Brown said it in the post, always wanting more. Sometimes you don't appreciate or, and celebrate what you've accomplished. But I know this team wants more. I know this organization wants more. So a very exciting day to clinch a spot. Hopefully they'll stay in that 3rd spot. But, to me, they've made it. Now what are they going to do once they get in it? And I think that's what, the world wants to see, in particular Sacramento Kings fans.
Yeah. Matt, I mentioned you were a part of that 05 or 04, 05 team before the drought started. You also came back to this team in 16, 17 while we were in the thick of it. In your opinion, what was like some of the bigger differences that you noticed just in your 2 different stops here in Sacramento?
I just felt, being young, the first stop, I just felt like there's some stability and a foundation. Obviously with those guys that done in the past and what they were still hoping to do. And then obviously Webb gets that, has that tough knee injury and things kind of go downhill from there. But coming back around, I feel like they were searching for a foundation and searching for an identity. And, DeMarcus Cousins being a little brother of mine, for him to have 7 coaches in 8 years.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, just no stability, nothing to lean on, nothing to look forward to, nothing to count on. But credit, again, management and ownership for, riding the way. It's not going to be easy. Vivek jumped in this situation, probably not knowing, fully what it understood and what it took. And it took him a while to kind of learn the ways. And then for him to start hiring people that he trusts to make decisions and start going out there and doing things. And again, we've talked about this at length, but, really hats off to Monty McNair, for taking that. To me, it started last year, with a very unpopular trade that seemed to be the trade of, the best trade in the past handful of years that literally worked out for both teams. And, so they started on their journey. So from that to go out and surround Fox and Sabonis with some shooting and some extra spacing, understanding that was just going to make them more effective, to bring in a coach who had championship pedigree and experience right up the freeway and a very defensive minded guy, but also learned a lot on the offensive end. And really just, to me, I think he learned a lot about dealing with players and just that back and forth, because sometimes that's a lost art with, some of the older coaches. So, Mike Brown really refined himself and his coaching style and was able to bring that to Sacramento and again, start a foundation and identity, which this franchise desperately needed.
Talking to Matt Barnes here on the Chris & Co. show with Drapes and Chris Watkins. And Matt, we talked with Paul Pierce about this during one of the pregame or postgame shows. It was during that Boston game. I'm a firm believer that organizational culture can come from the top, obviously the front office, but players can impact culture as well. I want to go back to that trade you just mentioned, Domantas Sabonis. How do you think having Domas in Sacramento has impacted the culture and what we see from the Sacramento Kings?
It's been huge because I think Sacramento is obviously a blue-collar town, and he's a blue-collar star. He's not flashy. He's not talking much. He just goes out there every single night and handles his business, like one of the best in the game. I mean, his numbers this year have been incredible. His double-doubles, his triple-doubles. I think, if he's able to put another one of these seasons together next year, I think he'll really be in the midst of the MVP conversation, because I feel like he should be in it this year. But I just feel like because it's new to Sac and this whole 9 yards, that I think that he's not getting a fair, look at that MVP conversation. But I think it was a monumental trade. Obviously different types of player, but similar when they were able to bring C. Webb to Sac. It was just a huge landing. Obviously Webb had more accolades coming, and was a superstar, but no slide on DeMontis. A two-time All-Star over there in Indiana, young, strong, smart, high IQ, and really fit in the mold of the old Sacramento Kings big guys, where one of the best passers in the game. That's what Webb and Blotty and Brad were great at, seeing the floor and getting their teammates involved. And I think DeMontis is almost like a 2K version of that. His ability to get the ball off the glass and run the fast break. And also another thing that people don't understand is De'Aaron's to be able to sacrifice to allow that, because De'Aaron, we all know De'Aaron is a point guard that likes the ball in his hands, and when the ball's in his hands, good things happen. So for De'Aaron to sacrifice that, understanding that it'll make the team better, that was a big step for him. But I just, I can't say enough good things about the team and the culture since he's been there. He's not someone who's very outspoken. I think he's a leader that leads by example, which is important. And and to give another guy credit, I think De'Aaron has stepped up this year huge from a leadership standpoint. Kyle, you and I talked about last year. I mean, he's a walking bucket. He's been getting buckets since he was 12 years old. And we wanted to see the growth on the other side and in other areas. And I definitely think we first and foremost seen the growth in leadership, which was desperately needed, but then also his ability to play defense and get the rest of his teammates involved and just be a good team guy. And I think that's something that he took upon his shoulders, because he was hearing the whispers and the rumors and has embraced. So now he is the leader of this team along with Sabonis. And I think they lead in two different ways, which is important because you need different types of leadership to have good teams.
Yeah, Matt, I don't know if you saw Draymond's comments the other day, but there's also just been kind of growing talk in general about people in other teams in the NBA wanting to target the Kings in a postseason series. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's fresh meat. You know what I mean? These these guys are the new kids on the block, so to speak. You know what I mean? And have had a very good season. They're not sneaking up on anybody. And that's why a little while ago I said this is just the beginning, because there's a huge target on the Kings' back. Anytime there's a team that's, talked about the entire season that hasn't really been talked about, whether people like it or not, guys are jealous. That should be us, or we're better than them, or we beat them, or we do this, we do that. So that's why I really feel like, although it's a tremendous compliment for this young team to make the playoffs, the true test starts in the playoffs, because everybody is going to be gunning for Sacramento.
Matt, you know what it takes to win in the postseason. If you were to give some advice to this Sacramento Kings team about the second season, about the playoffs, they may face the Warriors, seasoned veterans, Lakers, Clippers, teams like that. What would you say to the Kings about this experience getting into the playoffs?
It starts on defense. First and foremost, it starts on defense. The game is going to slow down in the playoffs. And although we've been the most explosive offense in NBA history, the pace of the game is going to slow down a little bit. So obviously their goal is to keep the pace, what they're accustomed to playing, but it's all going to start on the defensive end. The defense needs to spark the offense. And then closing quarters out is going to be huge. Closing quarters out. You never want to, close a quarter out poorly. You want to try to win quarters and make it small games at a time. You know what I mean? They like to go at, 5 games. I think their philosophy is they look at 5 games at a time. So, you break down quarters in, 3 to 5 minute segments and try to win these segments. But it's the little things that are going to add up to the big things for this team. So, but first and foremost, enjoy it. I mean, it's hats off that they did it. They made the playoffs, but also understanding this is just the beginning of the journey. So if there's just one thing I was going to tell them, it's going to be it has to start on the defensive end. Everyone has to be bought in on a string, communicating second and third efforts, first to the floor, 50-50 balls. All that dirty stuff that doesn't get much recognition is how you win in the playoffs.
Matt Barnes, you can check him out, All the Smoke podcast, and on NBC Sports California pre- and post-game. Matt, when you back in town, man? When we going to have you on pregame again?
I got 2 games in on the road next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I'll be back in Sac on Friday, I think it is.
We got to golf soon, man. I've been working on my game, bro. The driver is on point right now. Let's get it in.
Let's get it. Good luck, fellas.
All right, Matt Barnes, thanks for jumping on with us. Chris and Co., Drapes and Chris Watkins, 916-339-1140 as we continue to talk about the Sacramento Kings making the playoffs for the first time since 2006. And it was interesting because Matt said defense. It starts on defense. Is that a worry of yours, Chris?
Yes, it is. This Kings team, it's no secret. This team has struggled defensively all season long. And Mike Brown has pointed to points in time in which this team has played defense. But we've all seen that this team all season long has struggled to make stops. And that's a big concern for this team. Yes, they have an incredible, historically great offense. But can they get stops when they need them the most? That's going to be the thing in the postseason. You got to make stops.
Exactly. All right, we got much more Chris and Co. coming up in just a little bit. Drapes and Chris Watkins, 916-339-1140. Coming up, we continue to break down the Western Conference. Who should the Kings try to avoid, and who do you want them to face? We'll take your calls after this.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
Like any good agent, we're here for the open house, for the closing, for handing over keys. But because we're Realtors, we're here for so much more. Agents who are Realtors volunteer at nearly 3 times the national average. We're working to broaden access to credit, increase affordable housing supply, and ensure fair housing for all. And Realtors are bound by a code of ethics. We're here for it all. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find: happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof.
Live and local, it's Chris and Company with Chris Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do.
I just realized. I know. I think that's subconscious. Didn't even try and
look at
break
you
it down,
there, bro.
just,
You're breaking it down.
It's a little Pharrell beat.
Yo, it's welcome back, Sactown Sports 1140. Chris and Co. Drapes and Chris Watkins. Chris Verlade on the boards. Great to have Matt Barnes jumping on with us. We'll get back to Kings Talk coming up in just a little bit. But the start of the Major League Baseball season is underway. Yeah. The first game is underway. Yeah. We're sitting here watching it. We got the Giants taking on the Yankees. Yeah, Aaron Judge already has a big fly.
Go figure.
And are you a baseball guy? Are you excited about it?
I'm kind of newly trying to dip my toe back into baseball. We've established I was a child in the early 2000s. Yep. That was obviously when the MLB steroid era was happening. It was pretty fun.
It was exciting, right?
Chicks dig the long ball. They say it for a reason. Barry Bonds hitting 73 home runs might have not been great for his health, but it was great for the game of baseball. Watch, right? It was really fun to watch. So I kind of bailed out in my teen years for sure, but I don't really know what re-sparked my interest in baseball, but I just figured, it's still a great game. There's still it's one of the funnest things to do, and it's America's history. So I try and pay attention, and I haven't gotten to the point where I'm watching full baseball games though. I can follow it from afar.
Jeff passing ready.
So, it's been a journey. Baseball is it's still definitely got its down points, but
yeah,
it's got some positives. It can be fun. Playoff baseball is great.
Playoff baseball
is like playoff
great.
hockey. It's a completely different game, and you can kind of tune in and you feel like you get the best of it.
Baseball, unlike football, to me is a better sport in person.
You said baseball is better in person than football.
Where football is better at home.
I completely
watch it
agree.
on your couch.
People think I'm crazy every time I say you go to a football game. It's kind of pointless, especially
Got
like
all the timeouts and all the commercial
in this
breaks
red
and
zone
everything.
era, in this fantasy football
Yeah.
era. It's like I want to watch everything. And at a
Exactly.
football game, you're locked in, unfortunately, to that one game.
Here's my take on baseball, and this might get me in trouble with some of the people. People don't actually like baseball. They like the environment of baseball.
1,000%.
When people go to a game, it's to be around other people, be outside,
ballpark,
have the beer, have the
peanuts.
hot dog.
Yeah, totally.
You know, I would
completely
argue the
agree.
majority of people don't actually care about what happens on the field.
Yes.
They just like to say, I was outside, I was at a baseball game.
Completely. It's a social thing to do, and it is really fun. It is definitely a vibe, as the
Yes.
children would say these days.
Vibe.
It is a vibe to be at a baseball game. Just like you say, you get your hot dog, get your beer, chill out, lay back, especially, during these day games. There's nobody out there. I completely agree with you. I think there are definitely hardcore baseball fans out there that do watch the sport, love the sport, follow it on a nightly basis. But I think for a majority of people, you're lying to yourself if you think that a majority of people are super locked into the game. It's really, really tough to be because of how long the game has been played. It's tough to sit down for 3 hours,
plus
and
hours.
stay focused. And it's not like basketball where there's, hey,
constant
you're
action.
on offense. Now they're on
Right,
offense. Now
right.
they're on offense. Now they're, even football is a little slow, but baseball kind of takes the cake on that one.
I will say Major League Baseball is trying to address that issue. They instituted the pitch clock, and ESPN's Jeff Passan, he had an interesting take the other day. Here's what he had to say about the pitch clock and its effect on baseball.
I think the pitch clock, and I'm not exaggerating here, is going to be the biggest change to Major League Baseball since integration.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's a completely different, social issue that, frankly, I mean, it opened the doors for among the best baseball players in the world that we see now to be in the game. This might be the biggest on-field change since the mound got moved from 45 feet 100 something years ago. The game, when you guys see it, is going to shock you. It's going to be like, what the hell is this? Because when the pitcher catches the ball, he has 15 seconds to deliver it. The batter needs to be inside
begin
the
his
batter's
motion.
box. Yes, to begin his motion,
Wow.
correct. The batter needs to be in the box and with his eyes on the pitcher with 8 seconds left on the clock. It's like speed dating for baseball. And 25 minutes have been cut off the average game time of a spring training game this year.
All right, so that's ESPN's Jeff Passan. Do you want to take on that one, or should I start? I hear you, Jeff. It's a big impact on baseball. It's a big change in baseball. But after his initial statement, he went on to say it could be the most important integration in 100+ years. So he said, even going before integration,
the mound.
I'm like, he said the mound moving back, and I'm like, Jeff,
bruh,
there's
got to be something
there gotta
else.
be something else. But do you like that pitch clock though? Are you a pitch clock fan?
I think the idea of it makes sense for sure, right? I mean, a lot of the time wasted, they feel like, in baseball was a lot of staring. It's just a lot of, okay, no, not this pitch, not this pitch. Okay, I'm trying to set the pace of this game. I don't want the batter to get in any sort of rhythm, so I'm going to take 30, 40 seconds between each pitch. So I do like it in that aspect, but I have questions. I think I've heard a couple people bring up some good points of towards the end of the game, you're kind of, it should the end of the game. Part of baseball's the great allure of baseball is the drama that is built with just the time in between plays. Do you lose some of that? Is the game going to be too fast? Almost is a question I've also heard people bring up. So I personally like it. I think, if you can make a 3-hour watch experience 2.5 hours and maybe eventually 2:15, I think that's great for the game of baseball personally.
Yeah, it's funny. I was in the NBC Sports California studios yesterday, and we were talking about the pitch clock and how, it's shortening spring training games by 26 minutes in this society that we live into. It's such a microwave society. And I was telling people, my kids, when it comes to music, we'll listen to a song that's like 3 minutes and 30 seconds long.
Right.
And my kids will be like, oh my gosh, Dad, this song is so long. Why are we listening to this?
Don't let them listen to Hotel California.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, back in the day, kids, songs were like 4 minutes, 5, 6 minutes. They don't understand. Nowadays, though, these typically hip-hop songs, 2 minutes, 2:30. That's the only, time span that the people can really focus on it. And so I applaud baseball for addressing this issue.
Right.
I think anything over 3 hours is too long, unless it's football. Like football is the one sport that seems to get away with longer games like that.
Yeah, it is interesting too. I've tried to get my girlfriend into football, and she kind of opened my eyes to how many dead moments there are in football. And it might be something that football might need to address at some point. Obviously, football is king here in America now. So, there's not a lot of talk about fixing the game quite like, there's been mass conversation with baseball. But I think it's interesting for sure. And it's not just the pitch clock that they installed. They also got rid of the shift, which could potentially just have more balls in play, which is something they've been talking about. Obviously, when you can put your second baseman as an extra outfielder, that's a huge advantage. It's going to lead to less hits. People are there to see action. People are there to see people, even, the shift is taking away athletic diving stops for second baseman. If you're already in the position where it's going to go, you don't have to make that incredible, spectacular athletic play. And that's why we go to watch sports, is to see the greatest athletes in the world be athletes. So it's great that baseball is implementing these rules. Also bigger bases as well, hopefully leading to more steals. Baseball's trending in the right direction, and this is probably the first time that sentence has been said in who knows how long.
Exactly.
Since integration, right?
Since integration, right? Exactly. Right now, the Giants trailing the Yankees 3-0 to Oakland A's. They are in action tonight against the Angels.
Shohei.
Yes, Shohei on the bump tonight. We'll get to see him as well. All right, you're listening to Chris & Co. with your boy Drapes and Chris Watkins. Coming up in just a little bit, we'll get right back to the Kings. We're going to take your phone calls, 916-339-1140. And coming up at the top of the hour, it's our guy G-Man, as the Kings are headed to the playoffs.
I'm Eric Armstead, and you're listening to Sactown Sports.
Armstead with relentless pursuit, and Eric Armstead came in and sacked him. You wanted more Niners?
Sactown Sports.
Sacramento's new home for the 49ers.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Valley Strong Credit Union.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCR Ray 3 Weather Center. Your Thursday forecast looking at a mix of sunshine and clouds, light winds out there as well, and a dry day today with highs in the upper 50s to low 60s. Expect overnight lows in the low 40s. Get the latest forecast on the KCR Ray 3 News and the KCR Ray 3 app.
At Valley Strong Credit Union, we know that local businesses are the backbone of the Central Valley. Valley businesses deserve Valley support for payroll, credit, capital, and everything in between. Learn about all the benefits of being a business banking member at valleystrong.com.
Great team, great team. Where's the defense? Defense! Okay, everyone take a break. Greetings, Sacramento. Doug Christie here for the Good Feet store, asking, when is something too good to be true? When it probably is. And had I not experienced it for myself, this spectacular season would definitely qualify as too good to be true. So everyone out there in Radio Land, continue to enjoy. Something else that could seem too good to be true is Good Feet Arch Supports. But trust me, I've experienced firsthand the comfort, balance, and support possible with Good Feet Arch Supports. And so have countless others who have pretty much given up hope. It's time you felt good again. Take your feet to the Good Feet store for a free personalized arch support fitting and test walk. Experience for yourself the comfort, balance, and support missing in your life. The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and now Vacaville, online at goodfeet.com.
For a precision-crafted performance, the decision is easy. A new Acura from Acura of Stockton. Get the driving experience you've been waiting for in a new Acura. Get the best selection and customer service you deserve from Acura of Stockton. Shop in person or use our online express store at AcuraofStockton.com. Acura of Stockton will buy your trade, even if you don't buy from us. Don't settle for less than precision-crafted performance of a new Acura from Acura of Stockton and AcuraofStockton.com.
Start your grilling season at Nugget Markets for a chance to win the ultimate outdoor cooker, the Big Green Egg.
Perfect for grilling, barbecuing, or slow cooking the perfect ham, the Big Green Egg is the ultimate outdoor cooker for versatility, eco-friendliness, and fantastic flavor. From searing a steak to smoking ribs low and slow, even baking your Easter pies. Everything tastes better on the Egg. Want to win one of your own? Drop by your local Nugget Market to enter to win and stock up on gourmet ingredients to make your Easter amazing. Also sign up for Nugget's Secret Special for exclusive savings, great recipes, and more ways to win. Stop by your Nugget Market today.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you target the right audience, build your leads, and crush your quota. Take your business to the next level. Our digital marketing strategies help grow awareness of your product or service, all while building trust in your business. Our approach involves leveraging multiple tools and strategies to deliver exceptional results that are customized to your unique business needs. Don't wait to run out of sales leads. Keep your business growing. Get started with aimyourdigital.com today.
It's a myth to think you don't play golf well enough to get fitted for golf clubs. The professionals at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio would argue that playing the game with golf clubs properly fitted to your body and swing characteristics is the best way to improve your game and have more fun on the golf course. With a professional staff of fitters, all the major brands of equipment, and cutting-edge technology featuring TrackMan, the indoor-outdoor Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio is worth a look. See for yourself, Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway. Schedule your fitting at 916-808-2531, 808-2531.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your T-level for free. For your free T-level check, exam, and consultation, call 916-277-8599 or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Jiffy Lube's Country in the Park, Northern California's biggest country music festival of the year, is back May 5th and 6th at Cal Expo, starring Lady A,
Chris Young,
Brett Eldridge,
and so many more.
plus a Boots Boot and Line Dance Saloon, interactive lounges, and Sacramento's best food trucks. Weekend passes start at just $85. Tickets are on sale now at SactownSports.com. Country in the Park, brought to you by Attic Man Heating and Air Conditioning, Bill Eats RV, and Naughty Wood Barbecue.
Sactown Sports
Headlines.
I'm Chris Verlotta with your Sactown Sports Headlines. The day has finally come. The Sacramento Kings have clinched a playoff spot for the first time since 2006 with their 120 to 80-point win over the Portland Trailblazers. With the win, the Kings not only clinch a playoff spot, but also clinch the 4 seed, which guarantees them home court advantage in the first round of the playoffs. For more news on the Sacramento Kings, check out everything that Kings insider Frankie Cardicelli is posting from Portland on SactownSports.com. Today is Major League Baseball's opening day, and the Oakland A's start the season facing off against Shohei Ohtani and the Los Angeles Angels. You can listen to tonight's game with coverage starting at 7 o'clock right here on Sactown Sports. Those are your headlines. Now more with Chris and Company with Kyle Draper.
Live and local, it's Chris and Company with Chris Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Hold up. Whoa, 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 whoa. Get out the way, get out the way, get out the way, yeah. Get out the way, get the...
We are getting turned up here in the studios. It is a Sacramento Kings Thursday here on Sactown Sports 1140. Chris and Co. Show, Drapes and Chris Watkins here with you. Chris Verlotta on the boards. Coming up at the top of the hour, it's our guy, G-Man, the voice of the Sacramento Kings, Gary Gerald. He was on the call last night as the Kings made history, making the playoffs for the first time since 2006. Back here with Chris, and I tell you, when you look at the landscape of the Western Conference and you're seeing what the Sacramento Kings have done this season, one of the things I've said, especially over the last couple of weeks, there aren't winnable games because every game is winnable, especially in the Western Conference. But when you look at teams so-called starting to jockey for position, say they want to take on Sacramento, the level of disrespect kills me. I say bring them all on, whether it's the Warriors or whatever. If you're Sacramento, you don't worry about matchups right now. You play your ball, and then if you place the Warriors, bring it on. Let's get it going.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've came to that conclusion that after I was kind of trying to analyze, I made a list of who am I most afraid of? And I kind of realized and had an epiphany that, guess what? This is playoffs. Everyone's going to be hard. everybody who makes the playoffs is a good team. So there's not really any easy route. And, to your point, the Kings have to just play who's in front of them, and they have to, if they want to make it far in this playoffs, they're going to have to, overcome a lot of adversity and answer a lot of questions that people have had, specifically defensively. But, this team is good enough. Brendan Nunes always says it. This team is good enough offensively to win any night. They're also bad enough defensively to lose any night. And, it'll be interesting to see how that dynamic kind of plays out in the postseason. I think we've seen, especially post All-Star and those couple games without De'Aaron as well, this team was able to pull out some wins without scoring a lot of points. And that's not something that they've been able to do a lot this season. So it'll be interesting to see how this team in general translates to the postseason. I'm excited to see, who's going to step up, who's going to be somebody that we don't expect to have a huge role that ends up having a huge role. Who's going to be somebody who gets taken out? It's not even going to be necessarily, it might not be Kevin Huerter plays poorly. It might just be they're really focused on shutting down that Huerter Sabonis DHO because it's such a huge part of the Kings offense. So that's kind of what I'm interested to see is the chess moves that move forward.
We want to hear from you guys out there, Kings Nation. 916-339-1140. What do you think about the Sacramento Kings chances in the postseason? Which team scares you out there? Which team would you love to play? Here's what I know about the playoffs from my time in Boston. The stars are going to star. The stars are going to bring their games. Which role players are going to step up to the point that you mentioned? Is it going to be one game where TD goes off for 20, 25, Malik Monk off the bench? Even when you look at the Warriors and their title run last year, Steph was Steph, Clay was Clay, Draymond Dre. Andrew Wiggins, I thought was the key to that series. So who's that guy for us that you think could be that guy that wins a game or two in the playoffs?
How about a guy that's hiding in plain sight? How about Harrison Barnes?
Oh, the veteran.
The veteran guy.
Old man River,
We call him old man. You know what's crazy is he is an old man for this team. He's one of the more veteran guys on this team. He's under 30 years old. If not, he might have just hit 30.
I think he just hit 30.
So he just hit 30. This is somebody who has been through it all in terms of the playoff success. He was on those Warrior teams that made it through the finals. And he's been there, but he also hasn't been there in a very, very long time. This is somebody who, since he left that Warrior organization, he went over to Dallas, tried to see if he can be, that number 1, number 2 option on a team. Didn't work out in Dallas. He's came here to Sacramento, spent a couple of years kind of trying to figure out, where his role is with this team. But this is a guy who's just a consummate professional. Day in, day out, Harrison, what you're going to expect from him. And, he's somebody who's doesn't have that many miles on his body. He got kind of all of those playoff minutes out early, but this is somebody who takes supreme care of his body. The only Sacramento King this year who's played in every single game this season. He's ready. I know he's ready, and I know he can take his game to another level, because that's frankly been my biggest critique of Harrison is it does feel like he has all of this talent. There's not really one thing that I would say Harrison Barnes can't do on a basketball floor. It's just we don't see it every single night, and we see it sometimes when this team needs it most. But during the postseason, I think we're really going to need Harrison to have consistent 16, 18, 20-point performances in the playoffs if we want to find real success. And obviously defensively as well.
Chris, I respect you.
Thank you.
I respect your basketball knowledge.
Thank you.
You're my guy. I enjoy doing the show with you.
But
like you are the problem with today's sports fans. You just look at the box score and see what Harrison Barnes gives us.
I know.
Harrison Barnes on a nightly basis usually guards the best player on the other team. We've seen him guard Giannis out there. We've seen him guard KD in a bit. Like the things that Harrison Barnes does, I think don't necessarily show up in the box score.
Absolutely.
And I think we got to give him his flowers for that,
And it's not his fault that he is the, Allen Iverson is the answer. Harrison Barnes is this team's answer for who's going to guard him.
Right.
The answer is always Harrison Barnes. And you're completely right, Kyle. Like that, we don't take into enough account how much that affects his offense as well. It's tough when you're guarding the greatest players in the league and then also asked to carry a burden offensively as well.
Hold on. Let me stop you there, though. when I come at you, bro, come back at me.
Sorry.
I'm ready to engage.
Kyle, I'm going to tell you
Dude.
why you're what's wrong with everything in sports.
I'm ready to get in the squared circle in the
All right,
octagon and duke it out. No, I'm messing with you. I'm messing. But I do think that people, Harrison Barnes has been in the league 11 years.
He has, yeah.
And people keep saying, oh, man, he could be this, he could be that. He could score 23 a game. Let's appreciate what he is.
Absolutely.
And he is a solid player, a locker room leader, a vet, a guy that when you watch this team play, when the offense breaks down, they go 2 or 3 possessions without a score. Guess what Harrison Barnes does?
Gets to the line.
Gets to the line.
Every
single time. And so, Steve A on the YouTube chat says it. First guy in the gym every day. Leader by example. Totally. And it'll be interesting to see what happens with HB after this run.
Right.
Free agent.
Yes, totally.
What do you do?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're
So
Monty
scary.
McNair, do you bring him back?
Yeah.
I say, especially when you have a young team, you need those veterans in the locker room. So I would love to see Harrison Barnes back.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely an interesting decision that Monty's going to have to make because Harrison is so important to this team. And me and my guy, Frankie Cardicelli, always say, it's not a coincidence, but when Harrison Barnes plays well, the Kings tend to play well and tend to win basketball games. He's so important to this team's success because of, like you just mentioned, like the little things that he does, the sacrifices that he makes on a game-to-game basis for this team. He is just their solution to a lot of their problems. And he's a consummate professional. Like you're saying, he's the type of dude that you want to keep in a locker room. And I think he has set the example for what the Kings want. Like, he is their model citizen. I think if the Kings could have 15 Harrison Barnes, they would sign up for that every single day of the week. So it's a really interesting decision what Monty McNair has coming up this offseason, because it's not just going to be about what he provides on the floor. It is also going to be the off the floor stuff. And a big part of success is keeping continuity. And if they want to do that, I think Harrison Barnes is a really big piece to this team.
All right, so the Kings, they're going to the playoffs for the first time since 2006. Still don't know who they're going to play. When you look at the standings, it could be anywhere from Phoenix, Clippers, Warriors, Timberwolves. I mean, we have not seen anything like this. And if you're the NBA, if you're Adam Silver, you got to love the finish to this season.
Yeah, I mean, Adam Silver had his end of the year press conference yesterday, and he talked a lot about the play-in tournament, the success of the play-in tournament. Portland, with their loss last night, is the fifth team mathematically eliminated from the playoffs right now. So, yeah, if you're the NBA, this is exactly what you want. Drama, 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 drama. People love drama, and that is absolutely what the Kings are, or the Kings is absolutely what the NBA is getting right now, just with the amount of teams that are still in it. This is exactly what they wanted. The play-in tournament was built to prevent teams from tanking, to prevent teams from being like, well, I'm in that 10 spot. I could either try and be a sacrificial lamb and be an 8 seed to eventually get swept by a 1, or we can just tank the rest of the season and try and get a top 5 pick. And, that's an option that a lot of teams were opting for the draft pick. And this has definitely prevented teams from just going full tank with a month to go in the season.
You're listening to Sactown Sports 1140. Chris and Co. with Drapes and Chris Watkins.
Yes.
Hit us up on the phone line, 916-339-1140. At the top of the hour, our guy, G-Man, Gary Gerald, will be joining us. More Kings talk. Chris, I'll ask you, who's the X factor for the Kings in the postseason? Think about it, big fella. Think about it. We'll be back after this.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Sadly, if I go to either park, I'm getting a hot dog.
Yeah, Jason,
I am. I mean, all this stuff. I go, wow, the grilled cheese card sounds good. Give me a hot dog.
It'll just be it's not going to be a hot dog. It's going to be a free-range hot dog, special wrapped in goose intestine or something.
It's very San Francisco Giant, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on Sactown Sports.
Folks, there's been some swings and misses, but he's at bat now, and here's the swing. This could be at least a triple, a home run.
Are you looking for a grand slam? Regain and optimize your performance. See what Pacific Men's Clinic can do to make your love life the best it can be. Pacific Men's Clinic's safe and pain-free, clinically proven procedure breaks up plaque and stimulates the growth of healthy new blood vessels. Call for your free consultation now at 916-545-7577. That's 916-545-7577.
Wendy's $3 breakfast deal is a bacon or sausage egg croissant plus small seasoned potatoes for $3. It's the breakfast that don't miss. So if you did miss Wendy's breakfast, don't imagine fresh cracked eggs, sizzling sausage, crispy bacon, and block out those hot, buttery, flaky croissants. Croissants don't really make a sound, but if they did, for a breakfast that don't miss, Wendy's is that breakfast. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's $3 breakfast deal.
Limited time only. Participating U.S. Wendy's. Select a request $3 breakfast deal to obtain discount. Not valid for a la carte or combo orders.
Adopt U.S. Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
If you own a small business, you've probably been hearing a lot about the ERC, how it's worth up to $26,000 per employee, how easy it is, you know the spiel. So why am I still talking to you about it now? Because many of you still haven't filed a claim, but Innovation Refunds can help you close the book on this thing. They're backed by one of those big CPA firms the corporations use, so they can determine once and for all if your business qualifies. And it's free to find out. Go to innovationrefunds.com. That's innovationrefunds.com.
I had a nighttime routine for my frequent heartburn. I would drink milk, I would sleep upright with more pillows, but that painful burning stayed. So I made Prilosec OTC part of my morning routine. With just one pill each morning, Prilosec OTC prevents excess acid production, blocking heartburn day and night. Now I have a new nighttime routine. I call it sleeping.
1 pill a day, 24 hours, zero heartburn. With Prilosec OTC. It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We can get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we can take care of that free of charge. But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $79.99. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Individual rates, coverage, offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions, not available in all areas. Hey, small business owner, when's the last time you checked your workers' comp rate? For many small businesses, workers' comp insurance is one of their biggest costs, but some don't check their rate often. Did you know rates can vary? In fact, taking 3 minutes to check your rate with Pi Insurance could save you up to 30%. Just go to trypi.com, share a few details about your business, and get a quote that's customized for you with no hassle or hidden fees. We know you're busy, but spending just a few minutes to check your rate could save you money. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. See how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi, or get a quote at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
If the sticker price markups that new car dealers are demanding are scaring you away from a brand new vehicle, you can still get the vehicle you want and save thousands at M&S Auto on El Camino right off the Cap City Freeway. M&S Auto has literally hundreds of gently used but beautiful Silverados, Rams, and Tacomas. And if you love muscle cars, they've got Challengers and Mustangs too. M&S Auto Sales. Great cars and trucks and fair deals every day. Come and get yours. MSAutogroup.com.
Kevin Lewis of National Garage Door. Whether you need to repair a broken spring, install a new opener, or buy a quality Rainer door, National Garage Door is here for you. Call us today to see how we can transform your house with a new garage door.
638-4554 National Garage Door.
Sitting at your desk, watch Chris and Company now. YouTube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Sacramento Kings fans, you can stand up, take a bow. Your Kings are going to the playoffs for the first time since 06. Drapes and Chris Watkins here with you on Chris & Co. Sactown Sports 1140. Hit us up 916-339-1140. We continue to break down a historic night for the Sacramento Kings in Portland, beating the Blazers 120-119. to 80, and it turned into a party up there in Portland in the Moda Center. And I love it. And people are weighing in on the YouTube chat line about how wherever you go, whatever arena you're in, the Light the Beam chants follow. They took over that building last night.
Yeah, they did. I mean, Kings fans travel, and we've known that for a while, especially for big games. It always feels like there's some fan group that's making a trip out to LA or to, even as far as Memphis and the East Coast as well. Like, the Kings fans are just great, and we've seen all year long, like you said, it doesn't matter what arena it is. They took over Staples Center or whatever the hell they want to call it nowadays,
or whatever it is. Yeah.
We heard Light the Beam chants in that Clipper game earlier this year. Yeah, man, it's just special, and it's great to hear, man. It's so great to hear, especially after 16 years of having other teams have people come into our building, fill up Golden One Center, and have it just as loud like it is a home game. We saw it the other day against the Celtics, but it's so great to hear Kings fans traveling and up to Portland. They knew how big of a game it was. It's just great to hear, man.
I was thinking yesterday as they were wrapping it up, this is how my mind works, Chris. How long do we celebrate making the playoffs? And when do we start saying, let's win the first round. Let's move on. And, because it's been so long, 17 years, 16 seasons. I want Kings fans to enjoy this moment, revel in it. But the job's not done.
No.
There's still more work to be done. First of all, we made the playoffs. Next up, I want to shut up Warriors fans. I want to shut up Lakers fans. I want to shut up ESPN. I want to win a series.
Yeah.
When do we turn our attention to that?
Yeah, I think once we start to kind of you mentioned last segment, we don't quite know the seeding yet, who it is exactly we play. I think once, and who knows? I mean, with the way that the standings have been shaking every single day, we seriously might not know who the Kings play until the last day of the season.
Yeah.
And so, I think that's good for us, because that means we get to enjoy this celebration of just even not having to deal with that again. Like, they didn't slip into this. Can you imagine how would you be feeling? How do you think you would be feeling right now if the Kings were in this, from 4 seed to Dallas out of the playoffs?
I would be
only
so
separated
nervous.
by 4.5 games.
Would be so nervous. I would be anxious. I wouldn't be able to sleep.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. We've known the Kings are going to make the playoffs for a while. Even though we were counting down magic numbers 1 and all that, we knew they were headed to the playoffs. Can you imagine if you were battling for that play-in spot right now, how nervous we would be?
With all the history leading into it, I think there would be a few, optimistic Kings fans, because there are people who are just naturally optimistic no matter what with this team. But I have a feeling that a lot of people who have watched this team for 16 years come out flat and just not live up to our expectations or to our hopes and dreams. I would think a lot of people would be feeling really bad about the Kings' chances, no matter how good or how bad or what the circumstances were. I just think you don't want to take your level of history into a situation where you could be alive one day and then be completely out of it 2 days later. So I'm very, very thankful that the Kings are in the situation they are, because we're comfortable, man. We get to take the time to enjoy and celebrate, and take the time to really enjoy and appreciate what it is that we've just accomplished and everything that we've been through in the time since.
You're right. The Kings now 46-30 on the season.
Crazy.
Trending towards 60 games. Think about that. 16 games over. 4 wins away from 50, which is actually possible. It could happen if you're Sacramento. 6 games left, and just 1 game away from winning their first Pacific Division title since 2003.
Let's hang a banner. Let's do it. They got a couple division banners. They have 2 independent division banners. I wonder if we're going to get a third, or if we finally get the consolidated division banner title.
Yeah, exactly. So we got the playoffs coming up, and I teased before the break.
Yeah.
Who's the X factor for this team? If the Kings are going to make a deep run, who's going to be that guy that needs to step up?
Yeah, I think it's got to be Malik Monk. And Malik he's been really hot at points this year. He's also been really cold at points. Forget this year, in the same game, you'll have Malik Monk be like, what is this guy doing?
Last night.
Exactly. He'll be like, what is this guy doing?
Yeah.
I feel like he's shooting us out of the game. I feel like he's just doing too much with the ball. And then he'll hit 4 threes in a row, spark a run, make a defensive play, get an assist to Sabonis. I think we're going to have to see the best of Malik Monk if the Kings want to have real success in the postseason, because that has been part of the Kings equation to their ridiculous offense, is the fact that I love this stat. There's 7 different guys on this roster who have finished a game with over 30 points in a game.
Think about that.
That's insane.
That's insane.
The amount of firepower that this team has and the amount of people who are able to go off on any given night, that's a superpower. That's a thing that not every team has in this league. So whether, it honestly doesn't even have to be Malik. It could be somebody else who's had 30 points in a game.
Right.
It could be Terrence Davis.
It just has to be someone.
I think it has to be the Kings have to get a big contribution from somebody on their bench, whether it even be Trey Lyles having, a good rebounding, good scoring game. It could be Terrence Davis having an explosive night like we've seen. Malik Monk, like I'm mentioning. Davion Mitchell can be somebody who you don't expect to get a lot of offense from, but who knows the way they might guard him in a postseason series.
And I've said all along, the hallmark of a good team, it sort of reminds me of the Miami Heat a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They had 7 or 8 guys that could get you 20 or more on any given night.
Right.
That's sort of how the Kings are.
Yeah.
Because obviously, we know Fox and Sabonis, they're going to get theirs. Kevin Huerter, you could throw at him. Harrison Barnes, Keegan Murray. Everybody in the starting 5 can get you 20 or more. And then you throw in Trey Lyles, Malik Monk off the bench, Davion, as Terrence Davis, we've seen him as well. And so I think the Kings are such a hard team to prepare for, because you can't just focus on the starting 5 or 3 or 4 guys. On any given night, it could be anybody.
Right. And the beauty of Domantas Sabonis and his game is it's not even if you do try and stop Sabonis from scoring, you could argue his greatest weapon to this team is his ability to get Kevin Huerter, get Keegan Murray their shots as well, and in his 2-man game with Malik Monk as well. So I just think there's to your point, it's really tough to match up and try and defend this team. Like Malik said earlier, people got to play us too.
Right. And I love the swagger that this team has. Coming up in just a little bit, our guy G-Man, Gary Gerald, he's going to jump on with us at the top of the hour. You're listening to Chris & Co. on Sactown Sports 1140. It's Drapes, it's Chris Watkins, it's Chris Verlai. We're going to reset the Kings going to the playoffs for the first time since 2006.
The last time the Kings had a winning season, you heard this.
Back to the hoop, lays it up, around, and in, at the horn, and Arco has gone for serve,
Now it's the Beam Team's turn.
The Knicks have it. Here comes Barrett on the run. Stutter step in the lane. Double clutch. Chase down. Blocked by Sabonis. Rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
The Sacramento Kings will finish the regular season with a winning record for the first time since 2006. Catch every Kings game on Sactown Sports.
Some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we can take care of that free of charge. But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $79.99. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Beach Bar Rum, Santo and Sammy's Beach Bar Cocktails present Sammy Hagar and the Circle. Friday, July 14th, the Lake Tahoe Outdoor Arena at Harvey's. The party you don't want to miss. Sammy Hagar. Tickets on sale Friday, March 31st at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com and 8concerts.com. Don't miss Sammy Hagar and the Circle.
At Elk Grove Honda, we'd like to help you purchase your next new Honda. Right now at Elk Grove Honda, new Hondas are arriving on a regular basis, including the newly designed CR-V, new design Accords, exciting Civics, and much more. And Elk Grove Honda's pre-owned inventory offers choices there as well. So give Elk Grove Honda a chance to show you the new or pre-owned Honda you're looking for. We are Elk Grove Honda in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard, or visit us at elkgrovehonda.com.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave telling you something you already know, which is your time is important. That's why at American Energy Heat and Air, they make shopping for a new furnace or air conditioner easier with their new online quoting tool. All you got to do is go to AmericanEnergyAir.com and get an instant quote now, today. Do it right now. It'll help you determine what system you'll need to get and provide the best pricing options all from the comforts of your home. You don't have to have somebody come out and walk around your house and blah, blah, blah. Just do the quoting tool. It's so easy. AmericanEnergyAir.com. Check out how easy it can be. A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. I absolutely love these folks. 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com, making the uncomfortable comfortable.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Rivercats fans, join us on Tuesday, April 4th for all the pomp and circumstance that the 2023 home opener has to offer. The smell of hot dogs, the chill of an ice-cold beer, and the crack of the bat. Purchase your tickets today, and you'll be able to say that you saw the Giants' top prospects before they made it to the show. Tickets are available now at rivercats.com. We'll see you at Sutter Health Park on Tuesday, April 4th for opening night with the Sacramento Rivercats.
Jiffy Lube's Country in the Park, Northern California's biggest country music festival of the year, is back May 5th and 6th at Cal Expo, starring Lady A, Chris Young, Brett Eldridge, and so many more. Plus, a Boots Boot and Line Dance Saloon, interactive lounges, and Sacramento's best food trucks. Weekend passes start at just $85. Tickets are on sale now at SactownSports.com. Country in the Park, brought to you by Attic Man Heating and Air Conditioning, Bill Eats RV, and Naughtywood Barbecue.
KHTK AM HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your local sports leader in the 916. This is Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Christopher Ladd with your Sactown Sports headline. The day has finally come. The Sacramento Kings have clinched a playoff spot for the first time since 2006 with their 120 to 80-point win over the Portland Trail Blazers. With the win, the Kings not only clinch a playoff spot, but also clinch the 4 seed, which guarantees them home court advantage in the first round of the playoffs. For more news on the Sacramento Kings, check out everything that Kings insider Frankie Cardicelli is posting from Portland on SactownSports.com. Today is Major League Baseball's opening day, and the Oakland A's start the season facing off against Shohei Ohtani and the Los Angeles Angels. You can listen to tonight's game with coverage starting at 7 o'clock right here on Sactown Sports. Those are your headlines. Now it's time to get back to Chris and Company with Kyle Draper and our guest, the G-Man, Gary Gerald.
Keeping you company with the company. It's Chris and Company with Chris Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Welcome back to Chris and Co. It's Drapes, Chris Watkins, Christopher Ladd, still celebrating the Sacramento Kings, going dancing, heading to the postseason, 1 game away from winning their first Pacific Division title since 2003. They're coming off a huge win last night in the Rose City, 120 to 80 against the Portland Trail Blazers. The city is lit right now. Sacramento Kings fans, we see you out there on the YouTube channel, on the text line as well, 916-339-1140. It's my pleasure to welcome in the guy, the voice of the Sacramento Kings. He was on the call last night right here on Sactown Sports 1140. Gary Gerald jumping on with us. G-Man, welcome, my friend. How are you today?
Well, I'm pretty tolerable. Thank you very much. Just kind of savoring what's been a great adventure, a great ride, and getting ready for what's in the future.
G-Man, it's been a long time coming. You've been here since day one, since the squad moved here to Sacramento. What did last night mean to you?
Well, it's hard, Drapes, to really, sum it up in any succinct fashion. It's just that, such a long, treacherous, arduous time of wandering in the wilderness and wondering if we're ever going to find our way clear and free. And when it happens, it's beyond cool. it's something that I've enjoyed, just watching the social media reaction, seeing video clips of people checking out the beam last night down at Doco. Up here in Portland, it was amazing the number of Kings fans that traveled to Oregon to be on hand, to listen to them, to see their excitement. You just feed off of all of those things. And I love the fact that, going into the locker room after the game, there were a ton of smiles. It wasn't a great raucous celebration or anything like that. It was just like, okay, we've taken care of business. We've taken the step that we knew we were going to be able to take. And now you got to get ready for what's in front. And as Mike Brown has said repeatedly, this is just the beginning. It really gets tough from now on. I mean, we all know playoff basketball is such a different animal. Mm-hmm. But then coming back to the hotel last night, members of the organization, they had a get together here at the hotel, had hors d'oeuvres and a few adult beverages were consumed. And people had a chance to just kind of savor the moment and enjoy what has been certainly a most memorable ride.
Yeah. G-Man, I know we're feeling good right now, and I don't want to make you think about the bad times, but when you look back on this 16-year drought, what are some of the moments that stick out to you?
Well, I think that it's a challenge from a broadcast standpoint. When a team is not consistently having success, there are nights when you don't want to drag your audience down. You don't want to be dragged down personally. And there were nights when, driving to the arena or you're on the road, I just have to have a little conversation with myself and say, okay, what can we work on tonight? What positive vein can be passed along? I think, as most people know who have followed the Kings and who have listened to our broadcast, I'm not one that is afraid to, chastise a team when they're playing poorly. If they're stinking the joint up, I'm going to tell you they're stinking the joint up. But in the same fashion, you want to find something to have, hang your hat on in terms of hope and some ray of positivity, if you will. And that's, I think, has been the biggest challenge when I look back over the 16 years. So many different times. I mean, every season you go into and you're thinking, all right, the roster looks better in this area. The coaching staff is saying the right things. This is going to be the year maybe we turn this thing around. And then you have your hopes dashed.
Yeah.
And too often, by the 1st of January, you knew that, you could start making vacation plans or whatever the day after the regular season ended because the Kings weren't going to be there. This year, it's been such a pleasant change. It's revitalization. It's revived me personally, as well as, I can only imagine Kings fans, as faithful as they've been and as tolerant as they have been, to get caught up and swept up in this thing. And I love it. I love seeing their reaction. I feel so good for those who followed the Kings faithfully over the years.
And you're one of them, G-Man. You've been there, like I said, since day one. Mm. When did you know that this group was special, and why do you think this was the group that got it done, that ended the drought?
Drapes, I think that it all goes, in my mind, it starts with Mike Brown. And I was remembering last night and relaying to a couple of folks that I was chatting with after the game. I think back to June, and it was a day or two after the Warriors had won the championship. Mike Brown makes his first public appearance in Sacramento. They have a news conference. Several players are in attendance, people within the organization as well as the media, and listening to Mike Brown talk. And one of the things that really hit me, he said, I look at this team, and I'm paraphrasing here, obviously. I look at this organization, and I don't see soul. This organization needs a soul. If you're going to have success, it starts there. And then he talked about defining roles, and he talked about accountability. And I remember De'Aaron Fox being in the room, leaning up against the wall. And Coach Brown is saying, I remember Foxy from back in the high school days in Texas, and we had a couple of opportunities to get together at a clinic or coaches get together or whatever. And he said, I know that this young man can play defense as well as be electrifying on the offensive end. And we're going to make sure that he plays defense. And I remember De'Aaron just grinning and kind of rolling his eyes like, okay, I've been challenged the first day the coaches in town to become a better defensive player. And those are the kind of things that have stuck with me, starting from that first public gathering with Coach Mike Brown in June. And now here we are, 8 months or so later, and the Kings are now assured that they're going to be in the playoffs and they're going to have a home court advantage in the first round. And it's just within this entire group, we had a team, the organization, one of the things that Mike does on the road, and forgive me if I'm wandering a bit here, but
you're good. This is your platform.
About every month or 6 weeks or so, he makes sure that everybody gets together in the traveling party, and we have a dinner. And night before last, we went to the El Gacho Steakhouse at the Benson Hotel, where the Kings used to stay many, many years ago. And there were about 25 of us there. Some of the assistant coaches had brought their wives, significant others, and it was interesting to watch how this group genuinely enjoys each other's company. And to me, that just speaks volumes about the culture being changed and what Coach has accomplished. And, of course, this is just scratching the surface. When you look at his record of success over the years and the playoff runs and one thing or another that he's had, the great athletes that he has coached, this wasn't like some mirage out in the desert. This is something that it was going to happen. There's no doubt in his mind. And I just can't give him enough credit for what he has done in transforming this organization. And certainly Monty McNair and Wes Wilcox, the people in the front office who assembled the roster and gotten people together who are good fits, and a group that loves being with each other and supports each other, that trusts each other. All the things that you hear coaches talk about ad nauseum over the years, it's a reality now in Sacramento. And we haven't been able to say that in almost 2 decades.
Yeah,
crazy.
It is insane. It's been so long. And G-Man, I know this season, so many countless De'Aaron Fox moments. You had your 3,000th broadcast this season. You got the defensive player of the game chain, one of the only few non-players to get that. What has been your favorite moment from this season, if you can pick one?
Well, gosh, I'm never good at picking one. In my lifetime, I'll say, well, then I think another one and another one. A lot of things pop into your mind.
Yeah.
You think about the Fox game winners. I think he's had 3 of them this season.
Mm-hmm.
I think about that amazing road win in Cleveland when the Kings had 10 consecutive defensive stops to end the game, scored the final 16 points, came from behind, got the road win unexpectedly against the Cavaliers. I think of, you mentioned the chain and the 3,000th broadcast. That was totally out of the blue and unexpected. And yet, the love that was shown to me by people within the organization and the players and one thing or another, extraordinarily special. And those are just some of the things that I'll look back on this year and say, man, that was really, really special. It was really cool. But what I'm hoping is that there are going to be a lot more, not only over the next week and a half, ending the regular season, but trying to, make a dent and make an impact in the playoffs. But I know it's going to be hard. And I know that when you've only got, I think there are only 4 guys on the Kings roster who have playoff experience.
Mm-hmm.
Harrison Barnes, of course, is one of them. Sabonis had a year, I think, with the Pacers that were in the playoffs. Matthew Dellavedova and Alex Lynn in a short season in Washington, got into the postseason. Everybody else, it's going to be a totally new experience. And I look back at other teams, and I look back to the Rick Adelman days with Sacramento. When the Kings first got into the playoffs, they had to go up against John Stockton, Karl Malone, Jeff Hornacek, Jerry Sloan, and the Utah Jazz. It was like beating your head against a cement wall. They're going to pick and roll you to death. And they made no secret about it. It was just they defied you to stop them. And the Kings couldn't initially. And it takes time for these things to come into place. But this is a group that I already have so much faith in. I think that they can be competitive. I think they'll grasp the challenge. The question is, Can they play good enough defense? Can they value every possession? Because as we all know, everything goes under the magnifying glass once you get into the playoffs, and the intensity reaches levels that we haven't even begun to approach with this bunch. So great time to savor it, and a great time to look ahead and say, man, let's do some damage now. Let's let the league know that the Kings are the real deal.
I love it, G-Man. I agree with you 100%. And I have so much confidence, not only in the players, but this coaching staff in a series, a 7-game series, to be able to make the necessary adjustments. With that being said, you've been around. You've been to Arco when it's been at its height. Describe for an outsider like me, a guy that has not experienced playoffs here in Sacramento, what that game one inside Golden One Center is going to be like.
Well, I can only hope and imagine, and I don't think there's any question. I mean, it's going to be such a tough ticket, and we've gotten the taste here over the last 3 weeks or so at the home games at Golden One. There has been amazing energy in that building, and the whole business with the beam and the chants and people genuinely excited about what they're seeing on the floor. Well, just multiply that by what, 10, by 100? I don't know. It will be totally off the charts. And the sense of anticipation, it's just going to be, we're starved for this. It's been such a long time. And I can't wait, because I know that people are just going to be swept up in it. They already are. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like the tsunami, the big tidal wave. It just keeps rolling and building in this monstrous energy. And I think that's what we're going to experience come game number 1 on the home floor.
Yeah, G-Man. I mean, you've been with this team since day one. What does it, I mean, can you even put into words really what it means to finally be calling playoff action after not doing so for the past 16 seasons?
Well, you have, as I alluded to earlier, you have hopes every year, and then those hopes don't come to fruition.
Right.
And I joke about the fact that, 15, 16 years ago, I actually was 6'4", and I've been beat down to.
You had an afro then too, and everything, right?
Yeah. So it's just something that's so very special. It's so well deserved for the fans. And it's, again, I use that term, being revitalized, and it's revitalized me. And it's so much fun to go into the arena. And I've told the story many times. Back in the early days of the Kings, when they didn't have anything close to success or playoff level basketball, how much I envied other broadcasters. And I would tell them, I said, because that on any given night, regardless of what arena you go into, that you have a legitimate chance of winning. Well, I finally got to experience that during the 8 years with Rick Adelman, right. And it was such a marvelous feeling. Well, we haven't come close to that since that time, since 2006. And now this season, I've slowly but truly have begun to believe this is a team that can give you that kind of confidence, that can give the fans the confidence that on any given night in any given building, they've got a legitimate chance to win a ball game. And it's so freeing, and it's exhilarating to have that sensation. Let's just keep it going. Let's keep building on it. That's my concern right now.
G-Man, appreciate you. Here's the thing you need to know about G-Man. When the team is on the road, he's at every shoot around. He's working on the team plane. This is a guy that's been there since day one. A lot of people would mail it in. They could just show up. But, G-Man, I appreciate your work ethic, man, and your enthusiasm for this team and this organization. I'm happy to see that this drought is over, not just for the fans, not just for the organization, but for you also.
Well, that's very kind. I appreciate that, Drapes, and kudos to you guys. I mean, you're just you're bringing it, and I love it, and I love the excitement and the energy. And Kings fans have got something to get swept up in, and just enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride. I love what Mike Brown was saying just last night before the game. Have fun. Make sure that you have fun. Yes, it's hard work, but it's a game, and treat it as such. It's our job. We expect you to go out and act like professionals, but have fun while you're doing it. Let's all have some fun.
G-Man, I hate to take you back to the bad times again.
Dude, why are you
But
being negative,
I know.
man?
I'm just really
It's a
curious.
celebration
I'm
today.
trying
You
to
know
get
that.
into the mindset of the time when we were good right before the drought. Do you remember feeling at that time like there was a possibility? I mean, obviously the Weber trade happens. Did you feel like maybe, you definitely didn't see the 16-year playoff drought coming, but did it feel like at that time the team was kind of shifting to a different era, if you will?
Well, things always shift, and you have to understand that from the get-go. And certainly, I was appreciating the fact that we were enjoying success. And it's interesting that you mentioned that, because Kevin Calabro, the longtime broadcaster who does television work for the Portland Trailblazers, many, many years ago, he was with the Seattle Supersonics organization. He was their radio broadcaster. He corralled me last night and he said, G-Man, I just want to tell you how happy I am for you and for your organization and the success that you're enjoying. And we got into an extended conversation. And one of the things that he said really struck home. And he said, I had a conversation with my wife recently, and I have come to the realization that I was guilty of taking it all for granted in the early years, and the success when they had Gary Payton and Sean Kemp, the Rain Man, and different factors up in Seattle. And he said, I came to learn that, you can't take any of this for granted. You don't know when it's going to be the last time that you may have a playoff experience or an opportunity. And I thought that was very, very revealing and very telling. And it's also very, very true. So you look back in those times and I didn't know it was going to be in as abrupt fashion as it was, where the Kings, kind of turned that corner and got away from the success that they enjoyed. Certainly the injury to Chris Webber was a big, big part of that. But those are the things that happen. And the Kings have been extraordinarily fortunate this year in terms of injury. They've got the healthiest roster going in the NBA in terms of minutes that the starting five has played. And tip your cap to the athletic training staff and all of those folks behind the scenes who work so hard on a daily basis. If it's nutrition, if it's personal massage, if it's whatever it is, to keep these guys primed and ready. So many people deserve a lot of credit, and it's gratifying to see it all come together. But I caution, don't take it for granted. It can all change in a heartbeat, and we hope that it doesn't. We hope it keeps building.
You're right, G-Man. I know you're up there in Portland with the team. It's an off day today. Any big plans? You're going to do some sightseeing? That's the thing about G-Man. When he's on the road, he's not just chilling in the hotel room.
Always eating
he's
the
out
best
and about.
food, too.
He's out at a
God.
restaurant, watching a movie. What's on your plan today, G-Man?
Well, because of COVID, we haven't been in Portland for the last couple of seasons. And so I think that probably a visit to the Nike family store is on the schedule this afternoon. I think that I'll probably jump on light rail and ride out to Beaverton and see if I can't maybe find a new pair of shoes or something like that to help remember this particular moment or achievement by the King.
G-Man.
But it's just nice to have a day to kind of savor all of this and then start thinking about, okay, 6 games left. What are the Kings going to do?
Yeah.
Are they going to rest people? Are they going to, go after 50 wins? What's going to happen? I hope it's not a resting thing. I really want to see this team continue its momentum and just, be as ready as you can going into the playoffs. And based on what I hear from the coaching staff, I think that'll probably be the case. I think they'll continue to go full gun straight forward over these final 6.
G-Man, we appreciate you. Have fun out there shopping in Oregon. Don't forget, I'm a size 13, my man, too. I know you're flying on a team charter, so you don't have to worry about luggage or anything like that. Bring me back a couple of pairs, size 13.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
G-Man, Gary Gerald, the voice of the Sacramento Kings, right here on Sactown Sports 1140. Let me tell you a quick story about G-Man. When I first arrived here in Sacramento, it was the week of December 8th, 2020. I remember it was just like yesterday. COVID was in full swing. I didn't know anybody. First Kings game I go to, I see this man walking up to me, has the gray hair, And I have no idea who he is at the time. And he introduces himself. He's like, "Hi, Kyle, I'm G-Man." I'm like, "All right, G-Man, how are you?" You know, I still don't know who he is. I'm like, "Who is this guy?"
Security.
You know? I'm like, no photographs here. No autographs, no pictures. And he hands me this little red card, and it was a Christmas card.
Really?
It was the first time I met G-Man. He didn't know me from Adam.
Yeah.
And here he is giving me a Christmas card. I still have that card. I still remember it to this day. G-Man, no doubt, a national treasure.
Greatest of all time.
G-Man, the greatest of all time. And now he gets to see your Sacramento Kings go into the postseason coming up in just a little bit. I got a bone to pick with ESPN. I'm getting upset sitting here with you right now, Chris, because I'm watching NBA Today, and I don't think they've mentioned our Sacramento Kings just yet. We'll talk about that. We'll take your phone calls, 916-339-1140. It's Chris & Co. with Drapes and Chris Watkins here on Sactown Sports 1140.
The only place you'll find Kevin Herter is Sactown Sports.
Herter's open, steps into three. He's got the triple. Hey, Sacramento, it's Kevin Herter, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Great team. Where's the defense? Okay, everyone take a break. Greetings, Sacramento. Doug Christie here for the Good Feet store, asking, when is something too good to be true? When it probably is. And had I not experienced it for myself, this spectacular season would definitely qualify as too good to be true. So everyone out there in radio land, continue to enjoy. Something else that could seem too good to be true is Good Feet Arch Supports. But trust me, I've experienced firsthand the comfort, balance, and support possible with Good Feet Arch Supports. And so have countless others who have pretty much given up hope. It's time you felt good again. Take your feet to the Good Feet store for free personalized arch support, fitting, and test walk. Experience for yourself the comfort, balance, and support missing in your life. The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and now Vacaville, online at goodfeet.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We can get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we can take care of that free of charge. But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $79.99. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to 4hims.com/joy. At Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation and discreet shipping if prescribed. You'll love your results. To start your free online visit, go to 4hims.com/joy. That's FORHIMS.com/JOY.
If you are like the thousands of people that take advantage of March for replacing your heating and cooling system, then this message is for you. Hi, I'm Mario, owner of Attic Man Heating and Air, and March is the most popular month for replacing old, inefficient heating and cooling systems because of milder temperatures and end-of-winter rebates. If you've even contemplating replacing your old AC system, act now. Take advantage of up to 5 years of interest-free financing and 10-year warranties. I know, it sounds way too good to be true, but it is true. 10 years of worry-free operation, but you have to book online today at atticmanhvac.com. Attic Man Heating and Air.
If the sticker price markups that new car dealers are demanding are scaring you away from a brand new vehicle, you can still get the vehicle you want and save thousands at M&S Auto on El Camino right off the Cap City Freeway. M&S Auto has literally hundreds of gently used but beautiful Silverados, Rams, and Tacomas. And if you love muscle cars, they've got Challengers and Mustangs too. M&S Auto Sales. Great cars and trucks and fair deals every day. Come and get yours. msautogroup.com.
Founded in Northern Ireland, PRG has grown from humble beginnings to become the top brand in custom golf accessories for most of the world's top 100 golf courses. PRG offers original designs as well as Arnold Palmer, Folds of Honor, collegiate license, and Major League Baseball product designs. PRG is the official supplier of the Ryder Cup. PRG is available at major golf shops, or PRG makes it easy to purchase directly for your individual use at prg-golf.com. prg-golf.com.
For a business to thrive, there needs to be a constant stream of new customers. This happens through strong lead generation. Did you know that lead generation is one of the most important tools of any marketing campaign? Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products and services to them. To get started today, contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results today.
Let's cheers to the champions. Join us for the 50th anniversary of the 1973 World Series Championship team with a pregame ceremony on Sunday, April 16th. Celebrate Gene Tennis, Vita Blue, Raleigh Fingers, and many more A's legends.
The next pitch deep to right field. It is going. It is gone. Goodbye. Two-run home run by Reggie Jackson.
Tickets are available at athletics.com/tickets. That's athletics.com/tickets.
Sactown Sports
Headlines.
I'm Chris Verlad with your Sactown Sports headlines. The day has finally come. The Sacramento Kings have clinched a playoff spot for the first time since 2006 with their 120 to 80-point win over the Portland Trailblazers. With the win, the Kings not only clinched a playoff spot, but also clinched the 4 seed, which guarantees them home court advantage in the first round of the playoffs. For more news on the Sacramento Kings, check out everything that Kings insider Frankie Cardicelli is posting from Portland on SactownSports.com. Today is Major League Baseball's opening day, and the Oakland A's start the season facing off against Shohei Ohtani and the Los Angeles Angels. You can listen to tonight's game with coverage starting at 7 right here on Sactown Sports. It is 12:30. Time to check out Coastside Medical Clinic, who's dedicated to providing breakthrough remedies for men. And now more with Chris and Co. with our guest, Kyle Draper.
keeping you company with the company. It's Chris and Company with Chris Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up.
Sacramento, we are all the way up. We are back. The Kings are going to the playoffs for the first time since 2006. You're listening to Chris and Co. with Drapes and Chris Watkins here on Sactown Sports 1140. Coming up in just a minute, we'll get to your calls, 916-339-1140, as we get you ready for the playoffs. That's right. The countdown has begun. Think about it, dude. We've been counting down to the playoffs, clinching the playoffs. It's happening. April 15th or 16th, I think it'll be one of those 2 days, the first playoff game for the Sacramento Kings.
I cannot wait to step into Golden One. It's the same feeling. I was talking the other day. Obviously, we had the clinch opportunity the other day at Golden One Center on Monday. And, you know, I was just so excited it's the same feeling. Game one, walking into the arena once the fans are in there, in their seats.
Yes.
You know what time doors open? I think doors open at 5:30.
5:30, yeah.
Man, if you're planning to go, you better get there at 5:30 because I already know a ton of people are going to plan to be there as soon as doors open. People are going to be sitting in their seats. Kings fans are notorious. I mean, there's the story of you know, when we first initially got to the playoffs in the early 90s, fans were cheering standing ovation for 10 minutes straight leading into that game. I expect that kind of energy coming into Golden One Center on the first game one, man. We get game one in our building. I cannot believe it.
You know what? I'm going to retweet Worldwide Wob because he put out something about a month ago, a month and a half ago, and it was video from Arco. And I think it might have been the Seattle Sonics playoff game where Slamson was on the stills and the fire and everything. And it gave me chills. That's what I want to see come game one of the NBA playoffs for the Sacramento Kings. We got Drapes and Chris Watkins here, 916-339-1140. Let's get to some phone calls right now. Michael's been holding on for a minute. Michael, you're on with Chris and Drapes. What's up?
Good afternoon, guys. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to compare the 2002 starting lineup to today's starting lineup. You know, a strict analysis, not personality, not dress, not wives, prettier or not, just straight, you know, analytical basketball. Because I don't think the technology has jumped ahead that much. Maybe in training, you know, preparation, but just actual game. So I want to compare, you know, Bibby and Vlade and Doug Christie, who's still with the team.
Yes.
Just a straight analysis of the starting five versus starting five and, you know, the come off the bench guys. That's what I'd like to hear.
Well, when you look at that, you're talking about a team with multiple Hall of Famers. That 01-02 Sacramento Kings team. Chris Webber's in the Hall of Fame. You know, they got Hall of Famers there. Vlade is in the Hall of Fame, I do believe. And so when you look at that team, and then you add a defensive stopper like Doug Christie.
That's what we're missing right now.
And that's what we're missing, I think, in that starting lineup. I think offensively, we have more shooters on the team now. You have Peja, Bibby could knock it down. Hito as well. And Doug, I know Doug. A little bit. Hit me up. What about me, Drapes? I can hit threes as well. But I just think, that 2002 team, 0102, they had great individuals, but the sum of the parts too made it great as well.
Right.
Sort of similar with this team. We got some great individuals, but when you put them all together, it's like Voltron. They form and they become that much better. And so I think it's comparable in that effect.
Yeah.
The only thing this team is missing is the postseason success.
Right.
And we'll see what happens this year.
Right. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
to take the comparison even further, if you want to go one for one, there are some similarities between De'Aaron and Mike Bibby in terms of Mike was the guy that we would go to in those clutch moments. We've seen countless times De'Aaron is that guy that you go into in clutch moments. And, Domantas Sabonis is pretty much a perfect combination of Chris Webber and Vlade Divac when you bring in his scoring ability, his footwork, his ability to pass the ball, move the ball around. There are definitely some similarities for sure between those old glory years teams and this team. And, that's great to see because it kind of is, Sacramento has been bad. Obviously, we haven't made the playoffs in about 16 years. It's good to see that our good teams tend to have a similar identity, and we kind of have a style of play that we play here in Sacramento.
I agree, and I think that team was better defensively too.
Oh, for sure.
That's the thing about that team.
That team had 60 wins.
Yeah, 60 wins.
Incredible.
That team, when we talk about favorites to win, favorites
Continuity
to come,
as well.
continuity as well. And I think what's scary about this team, and let me know if I'm wrong here, Chris, or not, we're just scratching the surface. This is their first year together.
Exactly.
And here we are trending towards 50. Imagine a full training camp.
Right.
Maybe some tweaks, some additions here in the offseason if you're Monty McNair. I was a little surprised Monty didn't do more at the trade deadline because we sort of understood, what this team needed. But I feel like this offseason, he'll address those needs. That bench of that 0102 team was deadly as
We
well.
got Gerald Wallace. We got Hito Turkoglu.
Bobby.
Even Scott Pollard's a solid backup center.
That team went 9 deep easily, when it comes to the squad. So I think,
we're building.
We're
Like you
building.
said, we're
Exactly.
getting there. And part of, I think you mentioned it earlier, part of, or G-Man actually might have said it. This is just the first year of postseason.
Right.
You learn so much, you learn a lot by winning in the postseason for sure, but how you lose in the postseason tells you so much about your team and what exactly you need to address. That's where because in a playoff series, teams are going to try and figure out, okay, what are your greatest strengths?
Yes.
How do we take those away? What are your biggest weaknesses? How do we exploit that to the max? And they're going to eventually, we're all going to be hyper aware of what the Kings' weaknesses are come postseason time. And it'll probably end up being the things that we already know. It'll probably be the fact that, the defense isn't going to be great. Yeah, Domantas Sabonis I can almost guarantee Domantas Sabonis will find himself in foul trouble one game. And we're going to have to find a solution at that backup center. You could also see, I mentioned Davion Mitchell, how he can be an X factor positively. There's a good chance Davion's not a great shooter. There's a good chance they just don't defend him in the postseason from the perimeter. Will that be something that the Kings feel like they need to address? That backup point guard, and I'm not trying to single out Davion, but
I know, right?
There's
hate on my guy.
That was so unnecessary.
Don't go in the Golden One Center on
Unnecessary
Sunday
shot.
trying to get an interview with
Davion Mitchell. I know now there's no way. There's a 0% chance. But there's sure. I was like, let me not. I was gonna point out somebody else.
Yeah,
and
don't do that.
That's not
Don't
the
do
right
that,
answer.
bro.
Let me not double down. But the point is, you just learn so much about your team from losses. And I'm excited. I'm excited, honestly, for that. As crazy as that sounds, I'm excited to see what our weak points are so that we can address those weak spots and see, how we can get better next year and how we can eventually maybe get to 55, 60 wins in a season.
Can you imagine? Oh,
No,
my
I cannot, Kyle. I actually cannot imagine.
Hey, we are up. We are back up.
Yeah.
The Sacramento Kings are back up. 916-339-1140. Let's get to line one. Bill on line one. You're on with Drapes and Chris. What's up?
Hey, Drapes. Yeah, I don't know if you remember me. I met you at a cheer event. Our daughters did a cheer event over at the Roseville Fairground.
I remember that event. I apologize. I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm sure you met a lot of people there. But yeah. I feel like one of the biggest reasons why the Kings are successful right now is because these guys like each other. Like, I don't think I don't see behind the scenes, but they genuinely act like they like each other, and I think that's big time for success of a team. And you guys mentioned that we don't really have a lockdown defensive guy like Doug Christie, but I think Mitchell is that guy, and I wish they used him more because whenever he's on the court, I feel like they play better defense.
I agree, and Davion is one of the players that I'm surprised Mike Brown doesn't use even more, because of his propensity for defense. I mean, we saw Kessler Edwards out there. We've seen, earlier in the season, so many guys get playing time because of their defense. One thing that I would like to see more too, Fox and Davion out there together. Can you imagine the havoc they could wreak in the backcourt?
Oh, I mean, every time I see his defense is like suffocating. It's I can't believe he doesn't get called for more fouls, but he doesn't foul. So it's great that the refs don't call it. But I mean, man, he shuts people down. It's unlike any defense I've seen in the league. Anybody else that you would compare him to right now? I think he's probably the best defender in the league.
Yeah, I liken him to a Marcus Smart in Boston.
Drew Holiday.
Drew Holiday. And if I'm Davion, I look at, Drew, who has a complete offensive game, but even a Marcus Smart. That would be a guy I'd like to pattern my game after. Smart developed into a better offensive player. Still not a great shooter, but he can run a team right now. We're seeing it with Boston right now. And so I think Davion is in that mold of a Marcus Smart. Bill, did we lose you?
I'm liking a key. Well,
all right, Bill. Your connection's breaking up, my man. This is radio. I know you're my guy. This is radio. We got to get rid of him. We got it. I'm sorry, Bill. You know what? That is like the worst thing, though. That's a great call. Have you been in the car and somebody's connection is bad and you're listening to talk radio? Yeah. It's like nails on a chalkboard, bro. Right. I can't do it. I'm sorry. No. Bill, you're my guy. I'll see you at the next cheer competition and all that. Maybe call back. We'll get you back on 916-339-1140. But what do you make of Davion in his role with this team? Bill brought up a great point.
No, I think that's fair. And it's something I think has been talked about a little bit more recently. And not just specifically with Davion, but, you could throw Kessler Edwards in that conversation as well. Terrence Davis is a guy who usually shows a good amount of defensive effort, no matter how his offense is going. I think you can argue that's maybe why we've seen Alex Len these past couple of games. I think that Mike Brown does sometimes, what he's done this season has worked for sure. But if anything, I think sometimes they have leaned a little bit too offensive in their lineups. There have been times where, specifically like the other night, where I'm not sure Malik Monk should be in the starting lineup. It did feel like the team could maybe use some defense in that Minnesota game, and they instead opted to try and continue to be have a punch offensively. I think it's fair. I think it's definitely fair to wonder, like you're saying, can we get a couple minutes of Davion and De'Aaron together just to kind of reinforce that we also have a defensive identity, even if you're as a team, you don't have to necessarily be a great offensive team, but can you throw lineups out there that really challenge the other team?
All right, we got much more with Chris and Co. Drapes and Chris Watkins coming up. We got your calls. Plus, Chris, I know you prepared this magnificent rundown. It's beautiful, bro. You should frame this one up. But I'm going to add something in. I'm about to air some grievances coming up. I'm getting upset over here. We'll be back right after this.
The Oakland A's open the 2023 season at home Thursday against Shohei Ohtani and the Angels.
Swung on and missed. That's the way this ball game ends.
Catch opening night on Sactown Sports at 7 p.m. live from the Coliseum.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home, and the men who use PTO to catch afternoon basketball in March with the boys. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
Warehouse Paint is where the local pros go for all of their paint project needs. Enjoy same-day turnarounds, same-day color matching, color consultation services, and free job site deliveries. With a large in-stock selection of PPG and Benjamin Moore paints and stains, and an expert sales team that is here to help, Warehouse Paint has exactly what you need to complete your next project. Visit warehousepaint.com to find a store near you. That's warehousepaint.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So you've got an oil change coming up. Consider STP Conventional High Mileage to save on motor oil for your everyday vehicle. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP oil filter for only $26.99. Do the complete job for the right price. Get the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
It's March, and you know what that means? Taxes are almost due. Jackson Hewitt can help you win tax season. That's the sound of your maximum tax refund. The sound of getting 50% off tax prep. The sound of many of our competitors' prices going up. And the sound of getting to your nearest Jackson Hewitt. Hurry in for 50% off tax prep before this offer expires April 9th. Limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
Lowe's knows how to get your lawn ready for spring. And right now, you can take up to $10 off select Scott's fertilizers. Plus, you can save $50 on a Craftsman 20-volt 13-inch string trimmer and leaf blower combo kit. Now just $99. Get set for spring. Visit us in-store or online today because Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid 3/23 through 4/5. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Jiffy Lube's Country in the Park, Northern California's biggest country music festival of the year, is back May 5th and 6th at Cal Expo, starring Lady A, Chris Young, Kurt Eldridge, and so many more. Plus, a Boots Boot and Line Dance Saloon, interactive lounges, and Sacramento's best food trucks. Weekend passes start at just $85. Tickets are on sale now at SactownSports.com. Country in the Park, brought to you by Attic Man Heating and Air Conditioning, Bill Eats RV, and Naughty Wood Barbecue.
There's really nothing better than hitting the open road in a new Honda. And at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda, we are proud to provide our best selection to get you there. Buying from Stockton Honda couldn't be smoother. Wherever the road you travel might lead, Stockton Honda is happy to get you there.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claim based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own on report.
He's older, he's wiser, and he is back! Talking Money with Jeff Tarbell returns to Sactown Sports, Saturdays at 10 a.m.
Talking Money!
Oh, yeah. Live and local, it's Chris and Company with Chris Watkins on Sactown Sports.
When we come around.
Hey, don't get me started. I was about to drop some bars out here. Hey, I forgot we were on radio for a minute. I was like, okay, karaoke time.
Chris has that dumb button ready.
I know, right? What's up, everybody? You're listening to Sactown Sports 1140. Drapes and Chris Watkins here on the Chris and Co. show. Coming up at the top of the hour, we got Hunter Patterson, of The Athletic to talk about the Sacramento Kings going to the playoffs for the first time since 2006. Earning their way in. They didn't back their way in. They didn't get help from anybody. They put the beat down, the smackdown on the Portland Trailblazers last night, 120-80. In Sacramento, we are up. We are the talk of the town. Everybody's feeling good. But, Chris, I teased it before the break. Yeah. I'm airing my grievances right now, and I got a couple of things I want to get off my chest.
Yeah.
I want to start with ESPN. I know they got our guy Kendrick Perkins, our guy Mark Spears. Shoot, Mark Jones works for ESPN. But when are we going to get the respect? You and I are sitting here watching ESPN to the NBA today, and they don't bring up the Kings breaking the streak, breaking the drought until 30 minutes into their show. What are they doing? I don't understand it.
Kyle, now you're a TV guy, so you could probably tell me a little bit more. You could probably provide some insight here. Generally, your top story would be what they would call the A block, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And that would be the most popular story, probably the thing that most people care about. Generally, half hour into the show is not where you're putting your top stories, correct?
I agree.
I just don't understand how, again, this team, we're talking NBA today now. We're not even talking Sports Center.
Right.
NBA today. You know what happened in the NBA today, yesterday? The Sacramento Kings broke a 16-year playoff drought. It's great that Kevin Durant played last night. He had 16 points. It was an okay performance. We can do that in the B block. We can do that later. We could get to that at any point. You know what doesn't happen every single day?
Exactly.
The Sacramento Kings breaking a 16-year playoff drought. Can we at least get a mention up top?
Right. Get a mention up. And here's the problem. You know what they led with, Chris?
I don't.
You know what
I assumed
they led
it was
with?
KD.
It wasn't even KD. It wasn't even the Lakers.
What could it honestly?
It was
what
Kyrie, Luka, and the Dallas Mavericks. Let me look at the standings right now. Let me pull up my laptop and look at the standings right now.
That's
the
disgusting.
Sacramento Kings, 46-30.
Yes.
Third in the Western Conference.
Yep.
16 games above 500.
Yeah.
And you know what they led with? The 11th place Dallas. No, the 11th place Dallas Mavericks.
I think it's 500.
Dallas 37. They got 40 losses. And they lead their show. This is why Sacramento Kings fans are so angry at the national media, so angry at the level of disrespect. And I get it. This is a once-in-a-generation thing that has
hopefully
happened.
once in a lifetime.
Right, exactly. Hopefully once in a life. Hopefully we won't have to go through this again. And they talk about us 30 minutes into the show.
Yeah.
I just, and this is my thing, Chris, and this is what's going to bother me. Come April 15th or 16th, whatever day that playoff game is, national media will be in the building.
Yeah. Oh.
Don't try to come on now.
Spots.
Don't try to take our spots now when you haven't talked about us in 16 years in a positive way.
Yeah.
You haven't jumped on the bandwagon until late. Like I tell people, we have no more room on the bandwagon.
Right.
We don't need it. We're up right now. We're enjoying this run, and now they want to come late to the party, and they still aren't giving us our respect.
Well,
it frustrates me.
It's like we're an old story already. Maybe the Kings' success throughout this season was honestly a negative in terms of national media because they've already moved on. What are we seeing stories now? We're not seeing stories about, Kings first time in 16 years. How far can they take it? Are they legit? These are not the conversations that are happening on ESPN. Instead, we had to hear Brian Windhorst saying that people are trying to play us because we're the quote unquote. He said the Kings are the mark. The Kings are the team. Oh, my
gosh.
This man is saying that the Kings are the target of the Western Conference. This is the attention that we get on national TV. No celebration, just trying to tear us down.
It is so frustrating because you, me, Carmichael Dave, Mark Jones, Katie, we're there every single night.
Yeah.
We're there.
Yeah.
We're talking about this team during the lean years, during the great years. We're supporting our squad. And now the national media, some of them are jumping on the bandwagon, and some of them aren't even giving us our respect. So that's my one airing of grievances. Chris Verlot, you ready, big dog? My other one has to do with Draymond Green. Down the road in I-80, the Warriors are trying to limp into the postseason, and Draymond Green, who we might see in the first round, had this to say. Let's listen.
I'm not upset at if the standings shook out how they did today and we met Sacramento in the first round. Not because I think Sacramento is a weak team, because the travel is so much easier. The reason why I said Sac is simply just because of the travel. That's a lot on your body. If we could bus ride an hour and 10 minutes up the way, I just think that's much better for us. Now, Sac is playing well and very good team, but just from the travel, at the end of the day, I don't really care who we play in the playoffs. I think we can win.
Not buying it, Draymond. Not buying it, big dog.
No.
You see Sacramento as an easy win. You think the Warriors fans are going to hop on I-80, drive up, and take over Golden One Center. Yep. It's not going to happen. I challenge my Sacramento Kings family out there. we need to pack Golden One Center. If we do happen to face the Golden State Warriors, they're not coming in, bro. We not letting their fan base take over our building.
I hope not. I really hope not. I wish I could be as confident as that, but I'm just
I'm airing my grievances.
I know.
I'm impassioned here. I'm fired up. And you're like, I don't know, Drapes. They might not take it over.
I kind of think Warrior fans might take over, man. I don't know. With the price of those tickets, you know how them Bay Area people and their money be. They'll just outprice us. I am with you though. I do not believe Draymond as far as I can throw him, and I can't throw him very far. There's no way that the only reason Draymond wants to play the Sacramento Kings is because of travel. Yes, for sure, he brings up some legitimate points. I do think he's correct. You could probably speak to how much travel can weigh on them a little bit more, but he thinks the Kings are the easy team to get out. And, especially with a team with the experience that the Golden State Warriors do, I'm sure Draymond, like you said, is just licking his chops. He sees blood in the water and he's like, yeah, I don't want to play John Morant. We go back and forth. That's going to be an emotional series. He knows he doesn't want to play Kevin Durant in that first round as well.
Right.
Yeah. So how about you just try and get the 6th spot so that way you're not in the play-in.
Right. Don't bring up our name.
Yeah. Just say, obviously, we want to get top 6 because we want to avoid that whole situation.
Yeah. And so Draymond, he's on my list right now.
Keep our name out your mouth.
As exactly. Brian Windhorst is on our list, calling the Kings the mark. And like I said earlier, the way to shut these people up is to win in the playoffs. We did it during the regular season. Now it's time to win in the playoffs. We got much more with Chris and Co. coming up in just a little bit. Drapes and Chris Watkins here with you till 2:00. Coming up at the top of the hour, it's Hunter Patterson of The Athletic. Hit us up on the text line, 916-339-1140, or give us a call. We got phone lines open right now. It's the Chris and Co. Show with Drapes and Chris Watkins.
Catch every Niners game right here.
It's a new partnership. It's a new day. We're going to be able to build some things together. But let's not fool anybody. This has always been a Niners town.
Here's Purdy out of the gun looking for McCaffrey on the goal line. Touchdown! San Francisco!
Sactown Sports, your official home for 49ers football in the 916.
Some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we can take care of that free of charge. But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $79.99. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find: happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too. Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
When you're ready to get properly fitted for golf clubs, join the thousands of Northern California golfers who visited the indoor-outdoor Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio. Players of all abilities found the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio offers answers to questions about golf club fitting. You'll find a professional staff of fitters, major equipment brands, and cutting-edge technology featuring TrackMan. See for yourself at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio, Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway. Call 916-808-2531 to schedule your fitting. 808-2531 for longer, straighter drives.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave telling you something you already know, which is your time is important. That's why at American Energy Heat and Air, they make shopping for a new furnace or air conditioner easier with their new online quoting tool. All you got to do is go to AmericanEnergyAir.com and get an instant quote now, today. Do it right now. It'll help you determine what system you'll need to get and provide the best pricing options, all from the comforts of your home. You don't have to have somebody come out and walk around your house and blah, blah, blah. Just do the quoting tool. It's so easy. AmericanEnergyAir.com. Check out how easy it can be. A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. I absolutely love these folks. 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com, making the uncomfortable comfortable.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions, not available in all areas. If you're a small business owner, listen up. Pi Insurance wants to give you one of those aha moments, the kind that could save you money. Workers' comp is probably one of the biggest costs you face. But did you know that insurance providers have flexibility in setting their prices? That's right. But many don't bother giving small businesses the savings you deserve. Instead, you can get lumped in with other businesses and overcharged. Pi Insurance was created to change that. With Pi, you get a quote tailored specifically to your business, and you could save up to 30% with no hassle and no hidden fees. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. Take 3 minutes to see how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or go to trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
KHTKAM HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, the flagship station of your Sacramento Kings.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Christopher Laud with your Sactown Sports headlines. The day is finally here. The Sacramento Kings have clinched a playoff spot for the first time since 2006 with their 120-80-point win over the Portland Trailblazers. With the win, the Kings not only clinched a playoff spot, but also clinched a fourth seed, which guarantees them the home court advantage in the first round of the playoffs. For more news on the Sacramento Kings, check out everything that Kings insider Frankie Cardicelli is posting from Portland on SactownSports.com. Today is Major League Baseball's opening day, and the Oakland A's start the season facing off against Shohei Ohtani of the Los Angeles Angels. You can listen to tonight's game with coverage starting at 7 right here on Sactown Sports. Those are your headlines. Now let's get back to Chris and Company with Kyle Draper.
You're listening to the Chris and Co Show. Drapes, Chris Watkins, Chris Verlad behind the boards, 916-339-1140. 1 hour left in the show. It has been great. It's been great to be here with you, my man. It's been a lovely day.
It has. I know. From the moment I came to get you in the parking lot, we were talking about the sun is shining after after the 16-year playoff drought. Birds are chirping. It's a great day to be in Sacramento and be a Sacramento Kings fan.
Yeah, and let's bring in a guy who covers the Sacramento Kings for The Athletic, Hunter Patterson. I'm always messing up his name, man, and that's a level of disrespect. I apologize, Hunter. You're my guy, man. Happy to have you on here with Drapes and Chris. You write for The Athletic. It's been a long time coming for the Sacramento Kings franchise. What do you make of the drought being over and the Kings finally getting it done?
Yeah, first, I appreciate you both having me on.
Absolutely.
I think it's been great. I live in Sacramento now. I'm born and raised in the Bay Area, but to be able to experience this in the city and you can be out and see Kings fans. I've seen people kind of like yelling "Light the beam" back and forth to each other. So credit to Mike Brown and his staff, De'Aaron Domas, obviously. It's been great to see.
Yeah, Hunter. I mean, it's kind of like that's how we say hello these days. It's just by saying "Light the beam." It's just like a way of exchanging pleasantries. You mentioned, Kyle mentioned, this is your first season covering the team. Wins pretty obviously, but what has been really just the most surprising thing about this season that you didn't see coming?
I had no idea that they would mesh as well as they do. It seems like just watching games and being around practices and things, it really seems as though they probably spend a ton of time off the court.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't necessarily expect that to happen in Mike Brown's first year as head coach. So it's been cool to see them as cohesive as they are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Hunter, you bring up a good point. You know, I've always given credit to the players as well as the coaches, because Mike Brown came in, new coaching staff. We understand that. But if the players don't buy in,
right?
Mike Brown practices these dudes hard. They're always practicing. But I haven't seen any pushback from the players, any whining. You know, you mentioned just the camaraderie with the guys. It just seems like it's a team full of good dudes. We don't know them personally, obviously, but without the players buy-in, I don't think this happens.
I agree. And even anytime a question comes up about practice, as you mentioned, because that Mike is kind of known for longer practices that might be more intense. It seems like the players almost want to defend him in a sense. And they're like, yeah, the practices are longer, but that could contribute to potentially why we've been able to maintain our health over the season.
Right.
So it's been cool to see that dynamic between the players and the trust and respect that they have in Coach Mike Brown.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of talk about, you know, the teams wanting to position themselves to play the Kings in the postseason because specifically of their lack of experience. If the Kings were to play, you know, you mentioned you're from the Bay, if they were to play the Warriors in a playoff series, how much of a factor do you think experience would actually play in a playoff series?
I think it would be a big factor, obviously, but I don't think that everyone on the team is inexperienced in that sense. So Harrison, as we know, he won with Golden State. Coach Mike Brown has done the same. And Domas has even been in a 7-game series before.
Kevin Huerter as well.
Right. Yeah. And Domas' series ended, I believe, because it was LeBron. More or less the Cavs team, got to give them credit. But there are individuals on the team who have experience in high-level moments. It's just not the entire team. So I think players who have that experience just kind of have to shed light and kind of let the guys know what could be coming.
Hunter, in your opinion, is the West wide open? I look at Denver, and Windhorst talks about, you know, people think the Kings are a mark. Like, are people afraid of the Nuggets, let's say, or do you think it's wide open out there in the West?
Yeah, I think there's like a mutual respect and probably like lack of fear between the entire West at this point. If you look at just below probably the 4th or 5th seed, there's like a few games that separate a ton of teams. So I think the players, I personally feel this is the most wide open the West has been in a minute. But then again, you look back at last season, it may have felt that way until the Warriors kind of got full strength. But I do think anyone in the West thinks if they're healthy enough and playing well enough, they can probably come out of the West.
Yeah. And you mentioned just the constant change in the Western Conference right now. The Kings probably aren't going to figure out who they're going to play in that postseason, that first round, until probably the last couple of days of the NBA season. Is, you know, there's the Wolves, the Clippers, the Warriors, Suns are all kind of in the mix to play Sacramento in that first round series. Is there anyone you feel like the Kings match up best against? And also, who do you feel they match up worst against as well?
The length is the biggest issue, I think.
Right.
We see Coach Brown trying to figure out who he wants at that backup 5 position. So I would stray from Lakers with AD. Definitely the Timberwolves having Cat and Gobert. I think the Kings would match up pretty well with the Mavericks.
Right. If they can get there.
Yeah. If the Mavs can get there, yeah.
But it's based on matchups alone, I do think they match up well with the Warriors, but the experience is the biggest issue.
Kind of the equalizer.
So those two probably, like we said, if the Mavs could kind of get things going, and potentially I'm not mad at a Warriors series either.
Ooh. Who would you? No, I'm not going to say who would you be pulling for. You're a Bay Area guy. You're up here, so I'm not going to put you on the spot like that. But I will ask you about this team going forward. the Kings make the playoffs, how do they ensure this isn't just a flash in the pan, a one-year thing? Like, let's say the Atlanta Hawks. Remember, our Hawks had that deep run, and now there's total dysfunction. Like, how do we make sure that this is not a one-year thing?
I think it has a lot to do with kind of just like building on the chemistry that you have and not being complacent.
Right.
And we see that each time the Kings may have been able to sound complacent in post-game interviews, they're always extremely focused on long-term success. And I think the fact that Domas and De'Aaron are really young and hopefully they'll stay healthy and maintain that. When your two stars in that sense are as young as they are and potentially haven't even peaked yet, I think that's a huge advantage.
Hunter, this is the last one from me. This is right up your wheelhouse. I know you do a weekly NBA style power ranking for the Athletic.
Right.
Who on the Kings who's brought the most heat consistently this year? Off the floor, I would say Malik probably.
Yeah.
I remember there was I want to say the Kings had posted, I'm not sure if it was the YouTube series, but when Malik was actually in.
Oh, right. Yeah.
He was like trying to track down specific pieces and things.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he looks at fashion probably different than most people on the team.
Yeah. Who's been your all-encompassing of the entire NBA? Who's been the MVP for you this so far this season in terms of style?
Probably Shai Gilgeous. I think he's pretty fashionable. And you can't really, other than him liking kind of like baggier clothes, you can't really put like a finger on how he likes to dress. So credit to him for being pretty unique, switching it up.
Where's Kuzma at on that list? Kuz, he brings it
Kuz's
too.
Up there too. He's like in Fashion Week and like I'm pretty sure he's modeled different lines and things in his free time. So Kuz, if Shai is 1A, Kuz could be 1B.
All right, they're right there, neck and neck. Hey, Hunter, man, we appreciate you, man. Thanks for all you do, all the love you give to the Sacramento Kings. Hunter Patterson of the Athletic joining us here on Chris and Co. All right, man, we'll see you soon at the next Kings game.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all.
Yes, appreciate you, Hunter.
Hunter Patterson getting it done for us here on Chris and Co. And I see what you did there. You went a little style. Let's go off the court. I know that's
Hunter's forte. So like I said, he writes a weekly style power ranking. So if you're super into NBA fashion, definitely check out Hunter's pieces every single week where he breaks down all the best fits. And I definitely kind of figured that Shai Gilgeous was going to be his answer because he is prominently featured almost every week in Hunter's article.
And I love like when Shai walks in, the confidence, like the swagger that he has. And who knows, maybe OKC could be an opponent at some point.
Have you seen those red boots?
Yes.
Those infamous red boots.
I can't do it, bro. I can't do it, man. I can't.
I don't understand high fashion.
Here's my quick hot take on fashion. The one thing I've never been able to get into is Yeezys. Are you a Yeezy guy or no?
No,
I just can't do it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm too old. Maybe I'm not hip enough, but I cannot rock with the Yeezys.
I liked it when they were more like, they looked a little more like your traditional running shoe kind of. That was like the most I rocked with them, but like the boots, the red Octobers back in the day, and now they're like glorified Crocs. At this point. I can't tell you.
I can't pay several $100s for Crocs. I just can't do it. All right, we got much more with Drapes and Chris Watkins. It's Chris and Co. winding down. We got about 40 minutes left. Coming up next, we got to talk about Keegan Murray making history last night. And also, we're going to come up with our own little rankings. Who would you like to see in the playoffs if you're the Sacramento Kings? That's coming up next here on Sactown Sports 1140.
Been 17 years.
17 years.
Who plays it up, around, and in, at the horn. The Sacramento Kings are finally returning to the NBA playoffs for the first time since 2006.
Yes, indeed.
Where will they finish in the standings?
How deep a run can they make?
Tune into Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. for the most in-depth Kings coverage in the 916.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters, right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with zero down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at folsomlakeford.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLakeFord.com.
Zero down with approved credit.
To all my peoples in the struggle, you know what I'm saying? It's all good, baby. Shake it.
Live and local, it's Chris and Company with Chris Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Hanging pictures on my wall. Every Saturday, rap attack Mr. Magic Molly Mall. I let my tape rock till my tape pop. Smoking the bamboo, sipping on private stock. Way back when I had the red and black lumberjack with the hat to match. Remember rapping Duke? The hard. You never thought that hip hop would take it this far. Now I'm in the limelight cause I rhyme tight. Time to get paid, blow up like the world trade. Born sinner, the opposite of a winner. Remember when I
Yo, you letting that rock out for a minute, huh, Chris? He's letting all those bars get in. Our guy Chris Verlade behind the boards here on Sactown Sports 1140. Listening to Chris and Co. with Drapes and Chris Watkins here. Just a few segments left. That's right. Home stretch 916-339-1140. Continuing to talk about the NBA playoffs. Your Sacramento Kings going there for the first time since 06. I want to give Keegan Murray some love, the new all-time record holder for most three-pointers as an NBA rookie, passing the likes of Dame Lillard, Mitchell, Steph. I mean, to think, Keegan Murray. A sharpshooter that he is. Like, I think that's one of the biggest stories of this season. You know, so much you got the playoffs, Fox and Sabonis, All-Stars, but Keegan Murray, the number 4 overall pick, what he's given this team from a shooting point, and you mentioned some of the numbers earlier. I think Monty McNair, Mike Brown, that whole staff there has to be impressed with Keegan Murray.
Yeah, and I mean, Mike Brown talks about it all the time, but Keegan's also in a different situation than those other rookies too. Not many rookies are asked to come in and not make any mistakes, not be allowed to get that wiggle room to kind of, you know, show what kind of things you can do out there. Keegan had to fit into this, you know, square peg, square hole. That's what we needed, and that's what Keegan Murray absolutely was. No distractions. You don't have to worry about him being a young guy, new to the league, flashing his money, you know, flashing all his fame. That's not – that is the furthest thing from what we have here with Keegan Murray. He's just a dude who, like I said up top, like he's a vet, but he's a rookie. And that's exactly what you needed for this team that had real aspirations to win ball games. And Keegan's taking it in stride. Not once have you ever seen him get down on himself. You've never seen him really, you know, do the opposite and be like, well, coach is on my back all the time. How about I just go show him what I could do? Nothing. You see none of that. And so, yeah, I mean, Keegan's he's just been an absolute perfect fit in just about every single way for this team.
I agree with you. How do you feel like Mike Brown has handled him this season? Because we've seen at times, I could go down the road to Golden State. Rookies don't get a whole lot of minutes with those Golden State Warriors. Steve Kerr demands a lot. You know, what they did to Wiseman, what they're doing to Moody. You know, Kuminga's finally cracked the rotation. But Mike Brown has stuck with Keegan Murray ever since that first start earlier in the season. He's been the guy in that starting lineup.
Yeah, and this is how I know I can't be a head coach, because it's not that I would play favorites. It's just how do you ride a guy like Keegan, man? Like, he's such a nice kid. You know, he's never talking back or anything like that. There's just no way that I would be able to ride him the same way that I ride the other guys. And Mike Brown does it, if not more, to Keegan than anybody else. It feels like, he's always on Keegan's back. He's always asking more of him. Okay, it's great that you're doing this. We appreciate you doing this. What else can you give us? What else? Can you rebound for us? Can you put the ball on the floor? What other things can you do? And Keegan, like I said earlier, he's taken it in stride. He has never once complained, never been upset with his coach visibly. And he's just been that guy
he's
really
responded
all season long.
Exactly what Mike Brown asked of him.
Consistency.
He responds,
that's all you can
does.
ask from these guys, especially a rookie, to get consistency, knowing what you're going to get from the person and from the player on a day in, day out basis.
All right, so the Kings are headed to the postseason. It is your day, Sacramento. Let's jump to the phone lines. A couple of lines still open. Let's get to David on line 1. You're on with Drapes and Chris.
Drapes and Chris, how you guys doing, man?
What's up, bro? How you doing? Good.
Okay, well, I just want to say, you asked a little while ago who would we rather play? And I think that it really doesn't matter who we play, because whoever we play, we're going to have to bring our A game.
Mm-hmm.
All these guys are tough in the West, but we can beat them. We can beat whoever we play. Okay, we're a little we lack length a little bit, but we can defense with our offense. Somebody got to get hot every game.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you there, David. Somebody has to get hot, whether it's Malik, Herter. To me, those two are sort of the X factors.
Yeah.
When those guys are clicking,
we
are tough to beat, man. We are tough to beat.
I think Herter's gonna hold his line, but someone else has to get hot. Sabonis gonna do his thing.
Fox gonna do his.
Fox gonna do his thing. And Herter's he's gonna always be a threat. But we need Malik Monk, Terrence Davis, one of those other guys to really get hot every game.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I definitely think that this team, yeah, you're right. Every single opponent that you're going to play in the postseason is going to be a tough matchup. That's why they're in the postseason. That's why they made it this far. The Kings if they want to find success, they're going to have to beat some tough teams in front of them. And they've shown the ability to beat those teams all season. And you're right. Sometimes their best defense has been their incredible offense this year. And I do think that that's going to be a huge part of them winning games in the postseason is getting, like you guys are talking about, getting those big performances out of Herter and Monk.
Good stuff. Good call, David. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, David.
All right, let's get to Ashley on line 2. What you got, Ashley?
Hello. I just want to say, this is, as a Kings fan, this is an incredible moment to to be part of. I remember I was a Kings fan just going back as far as I was born, basically. I was born into a Kings family. And, it was so funny because me and my grandma, we were watching. We needed a free throw from Chris Webber to clinch to get the playoffs, and it rattled all the way in and it popped out. And I was 7 or 8, and I was crying, saying, "We're never going to make the playoffs again. We're never going to make the playoffs again." And she told me, "No, we'll be back next season. We'll be back next season." And we've never been back. But it was so funny because she went into the car after that and she cried, and she felt like such a hypocrite. And ever since she said that, she jinxed the Kings. And so, as a Kings fan, this feels like a huge curse that has just been lifted off our chest. And going into the season, I felt Mike Brown was a great choice for the coach. And I just love everything he's been doing. Light the beam.
Yeah. I love that.
Thank you so much, Ashley. I agree.
It's not your fault, Grandma.
Right.
Just so you know, it's not your fault, Grandma.
Hey,
it's not on you.
You're not Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
It's not like the curse of Babe Ruth in baseball. but Ashley made a great point. Mike Brown, perfect choice.
Right.
Remember, there was talk Mark Jackson. You want to get Steve Clifford out there in Charlotte. Mike Brown has been a revelation for this Sacramento Kings team and what he's been able to do. And you've mentioned it, and we've talked about it. Those stops along the way, whether it's Cleveland, LA, even in Golden State, he has evolved. He has transformed, and he has turned into a great head coach.
Yeah, I would be lying to you if I would have told you that I thought Mike Brown was going to be this perfect of a fit. But again, much like how I described Keegan, square peg, square hole, it really feels like he was the perfect person to put in for this team. He has demanded from day one a certain level of accountability from these guys. And that's really something that I remember going back to last year, the exit interviews, final game of the season, De'Aaron Fox saying, I don't necessarily think we need like a disciplinarian. We don't need somebody who's going to, be like an army, an army sergeant to us, yelling at us, telling us how bad we are. What we need is structure. And I think that's what Mike has really brought. It's just a level of expectation. Yep. You know how the day is going to go. You know what Mike expects from you on a given basis. And he's not going to change from that. Mike isn't going to tell you one thing one day and then get mad at you for doing it the next, or, for doing something different the next. He has a certain level of expectation, and we've seen it all year, even in game. He's not afraid to shut everything down. He doesn't care if it's 30 seconds in. He don't care if you just tipped off. He don't care if you all have scored 15 straight points. If you forget something on the defense, if you forget an assignment, if you forget what you're supposed to do, Mike will call that timeout, and he will call you out publicly in front of everybody on the sideline. And it's not him trying to embarrass him or any of the guys on the team. It's just him demanding that level of expectation across the board.
Yeah, he is the master of the quick timeout.
He is, right? It's hilarious. It is so funny.
It's a joy to see him coach it, and the players respond as they are now headed to the postseason for the first time since 2006. I see you guys on the text stream. Monty McNair deserves so much credit. Yes, he does. We'll talk about him coming up. Plus, we'll get to your phone calls. We got Will hanging out. Stay there, right there, Will. You're listening to Chris & Co. with Drapes and Chris Watkins here on Sactown Sports 1140.
I'm Eric Armstead, and you're listening to Sactown Sports.
Armstead with relentless pursuit, and Eric Armstead came in. Sacked him.
You wanted more Niners?
Sactown Sports.
Sacramento's new home for the 49ers.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right, but right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair, Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you find the right customers. Spread awareness of your product or services. We can help build trust in your brand and services with a digital marketing campaign. Increase leads and get more customers. We create tailored digital marketing campaigns that deliver results. Don't wait. Get started today. Contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home, and the men who use PTO to catch afternoon basketball in March with the boys. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
Jiffy Lube's Country in the Park, Northern California's biggest country music festival of the year, is back May 5th and 6th at Cal Expo, starring Lady A, Chris Young, for Outridge.
I wanna be that song.
And so many more. Plus, a Boots Boot and Line Dance Saloon, interactive lounges, and Sacramento's best food trucks. Weekend passes start at just $85. Tickets are on sale now at SactownSports.com. Country in the Park, brought to you by Attic Man Heating and Air Conditioning, Bill Eats RV, and Naughtywood Barbecue.
Rivercats fans, join us on Tuesday, April 4th for all the pomp and circumstance that the 2023 home opener has to offer. The smell of hot dogs, the chill of an ice-cold beer, and the crack of the bat. Purchase your tickets today, and you'll be able to say that you saw the Giants' top prospects before they made it to the show. Tickets are available now at rivercats.com. We'll see you at Sutter Health Park on Tuesday, April 4th for opening night with the Sacramento Rivercats.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Christopher Ladd with your Sactown Sports headlines. The day has finally come. The Sacramento Kings have clinched a playoff spot for the first time since 2006 with their 120 to 80 point win over the Portland Trailblazers. With the win, the Kings not only clinched a playoff spot, but also clinched a 4 seed, which guarantees them home court advantage in the first round of the playoffs. For more news on the Sacramento Kings, check out everything that Kings insider Frankie Cardicelli from Portland on SactownSports.com. Today is Major League Baseball's opening day, and the Oakland A's start the season facing off against Shohei Ohtani and the Los Angeles Angels. You can listen to the game with coverage starting at 7 right here on Sactown Sports. It is 1:30. Time to check out Coastside Medical Clinic, who's dedicated to providing breakthrough remedies for men. And now more with Chris and Co. with Kyle Draper.
Sitting at your desk? Watch Chris and Company now. YouTube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Sacrifice, hustle, pay the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life I've been grinding all my life. All my life, been grinding all my life.
Yo, Chris, cut the music. Cut the music, Chris. You're killing me today, bro. The one thing I've learned is that Christopher Ladd has good taste in music, bro. I was not expecting it. Trust me. I saw Chris. I'm like, dang, man, what we going to have played on the airwaves today? I'm not sure I'm going to buy. You're crushing it, man. I appreciate you. Seriously.
A lot of Dua Lipa was expected.
Right, exactly, man. Welcome back, everyone. Sactown Sports 1140. Drapes, Chris Watkins, Christopher Ladd here with you. About a half hour left on the show. We're going to get to some more calls coming up in a minute as we continue to celebrate your Sacramento Kings making the postseason with a 40-point drubbing. We call that back east a mollywhopping of the Portland Trailblazers last night. And the Kings fans are up. I'm watching everybody on the YouTube chat. There's some flirting going on.
I know, I saw.
Dude, it's like a dating app on that thing, man. I'm peeping them out
brings
there.
People together,
right. And that's. And so I'm excited, man. This Kings team and this Kings franchise, this Kings fan base, they deserve it. And I mentioned earlier in the show, this is probably one of the single most greatest transformations in sports history.
Right.
Considering where the Kings came from, no hope last year. I understand we had Domas, so there was a little bit, but 30 wins. Now you might get 50 wins. We're talking a potential 20-win increase from one season to the next.
And it's not just the wins that you're talking. You want to talk about how this just came out of there was no signs of this offense either. I mean, we're talking about a team right now that has, by offensive rating standards, it's the greatest offense in NBA history.
Yes.
Last season, this team was like 27th in offensive rating.
Right.
So, you know, it's just it defies all logic. It's almost like we're living in a simulation or in a dream or something, because this just doesn't happen. And that's the thing that more than anything is what hits me, is just like the improbability of all of this. Again, like not sneaking into the playoffs, not probably going to be one and done, or like I mentioned earlier, pre-play-in tournament, the 8 seed is just kind of that sacrificial lamb to get swept, or a gentleman's sweep by the 1 seed. This is a team that is a top 3 seed. Their offense is incredible, and it's not also just a gimmicky offense. We've seen this offense be good under Dave Yeager in the most recent season, where the Kings thought they were going to have a play. Yes, exactly. Where, you know, they played a lot of up-tempo, high-octane off the transition. This year, they score from all levels.
Yes.
They can score in transition, but they're just as good, if not even better, in the half court as well.
Right.
So it's signs like that where it's like, like we've been talking about, it's not just this year. This is something that you can build off of in future years, and it's not just going to be a one-year blip.
No, I agree. And if you're Monte McNair, you see what you need to add to this team so they can make a deep playoff run again next year. 916-339-1140. Chris, let's just jump on the phone lines right now. Let's bring in a couple of people. They've been on hold for a minute. Let's get Will on line 1. Will, what's up, man?
You're right, Drake, man. You keep me hanging like that, man. I'm losing my train of thought.
I got you, fam. I got you.
Kenny be tripping, don't he?
I don't know. Hey. I know nothing. I know nothing. No comment. Kenny Thomas is my guy.
Kenny be scared, man. He be scared, man. Hey, look at. This is my take, Kenny. Look. I mean, not Kenny. Drake.
What you
got? This is my take. I don't want to see the Timberwolves, man. Okay? Because they got too much length. They athletic. And that's our biggest problem. We got a hell of a fundamental team, man, that can ball with anybody, but we just don't have, we don't have the guys that can just dunk on anybody. You know what I'm saying? Just come through the lane and just terrorize people. And Domas and those guys got to stop letting guys dunk on them. They got to knock a guy down.
Yeah.
I like what Trey Lyles did against Giannis, but.
Right.
They can't be let. Domas can't be, and then sometimes when he foul him, it's a touch foul. Man, you gotta knock a guy down.
But hold on, Will. I hear you, Will. But this ain't the bad boys. You don't want guys to get thrown out. I understand, being forceful with it. Don't no touch fouls. But you don't want these guys to get suspended.
No, I ain't talking dirty stuff. I'm just saying, Domas is our 5, man. He our center, man. He's the man. He can't let these 6'8" guys come through there and dunk on him like that. You feel me?
I feel you, bro. I feel you, Will.
Go to the line, man. You don't come in here. And then I'm worried about the Warriors. Now, I know we can compete with the Warriors. We got the advantage in the post with Domas against Looney, but that crazy Draymond, man, Draymond will get you out of your game. See, Minnesota they were up by almost 20.
Yeah.
And then Draymond acted fool and got crazy, and then they just lost what they were doing, man.
Draymond should have been thrown out. He should have been thrown out against the Pelicans. He shouldn't even have been on the floor.
That was crazy.
And that's the Warriors. The Kings can't allow a team like the Warriors. That's how the Warriors beat you. They beat you. If Steph get hot and Poole get hot and them guys get hot and Draymond acting crazy, you don't forgot what you were doing.
It's psychological warfare when you face the Warriors because they bombing threes from all over. Draymond talking smack, getting under your skin. I hear you, Will.
And but my last thing is, I don't want them to see Minnesota because we played them we lost 3-1, right? To them already.
Yeah.
And we just can't deal with their length, man. We can't. And them guys can shoot threes too. And we don't have anybody. And then what? I know you guys are insiders. What is it with Coach Brown and Ray Sean, man? Why Ray Sean can't get off the bench, man?
Man, leave Coach Brown alone. I hear you, though. We saw Rashawn the other day, 3 games ago.
No. I know, but my point is, he was the starter for the last 2 years. He was pretty competent. Mm-hmm. It's like some games, like they'll go 10 games, he don't even come off the pile. I'm saying, what is going on?
Yeah. I feel you, Will. I feel you.
You got to use those fouls from Ray Sean. You got to use that body, and you got to use those fouls. And we got to get physical in the playoffs. You know that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I think we got to get physical out on the perimeter, too. Like, you can't just let guys drive down the lane on you. I hear you, Will. Hey, Will, man, I got to go, man. I got to go. I want to get these calls in. Hey, appreciate you, man. Thanks for the love. Me and Kenny back on Friday night. Make sure you check us out, 6:30 on the pregame. Let's get the TC on line 2. You're on with Drapes and Chris. What you got?
Yes, sir. Drapes, Chris, what's up with my brothers, man? How y'all doing?
How you doing?
Chilling,
TC?
man. Chilling.
Just fired up for the city, man. Like I said, man, in the beginning of the season, way before, y'all probably see me in the chat. I was screaming 6 seed, 45 games from the jump, and it looks like we exceeded that, man. It's special for the city. Been a long time Kings fan, man. All my life, I'm 37. I seen the good, and I seen the bad, and I seen in the middle. And last night was very special. I know we want to finish it in front of the home fans, but just to finish it last night, bro, I don't know. It gets to see everybody how emotional everybody is with the stories, and just the Kings are back, bro. And honestly, with the other caller, I was worried about Minnesota, but at this point, I'm not worried about anybody, bro. We get in the playoffs, anything can happen. Teams need to worry about us, if anything. That's all I got for y'all, bro. Thank you.
Appreciate you, TC. What you think, man? Teams got to worry about us. I like that confidence.
No, I agree. I definitely agree. And I agree with the fear of Minnesota. I think that the length is a definite concern. And, we haven't even talked about Anthony Edwards, the guy, former number one pick, a dude who has had playoff experience and has played really well in the playoffs as well. Yeah, Minnesota is a really scary team, and you should not be fooled by their record. They are a lot better than what their record shows, and they are. They're a really tough matchup nightmare for the Kings, and I feel like I am starting to slowly talk myself into this Kings-Warriors series as the one that I want to see.
Okay.
It's the one I think I want to see. I think it's best for, especially, I think Will mentioned it in his call, it feels like Domas versus Kevon Looney. That's Domas is average he's averaged like 20, I think 17 rebounds and 7 assists against the Warriors so far this season. That's going to be a huge series for Domas, and not really many other playoff teams have the lack of size that the Warriors do. So I actually do really like that Warriors matchup.
Yeah, coming up, we're going to break down each team real quick before we get out of here at the top of the hour. We're going to talk about Phoenix, Clippers, Golden State, Timberwolves, Lakers as well. Somebody in the chat, the text line just said, just got in the car at the airport after coming back from Portland. What a great win. Tons of fans on the plane. Love seeing this. Cool. How about the fans going up to Portland, taking over that building last night?
I know. I'm so glad that it's not too far of a flight. It's about 90 minutes. That's what Kings fans do, though, man. I'm telling you, they show up no matter what. These fools, Carmichael Dave took an RV all the way across the country. There is no limits to how far Kings fans will travel for this team. And, man, it was so great to see how many Kings fans were down in Portland getting that Light the Beam chant booming. You can hear it on G-Man's final call from last night, and I think that's so cool that will forever exist as well, that as G-Man's winding down the clock there, you get to hear the Light the Beam chant.
Yeah, and I just think last night was one of those moments where 20 years from now, 10 years, 15, you'll remember where you were. On that night. It was a historic night in the city of Sacramento. So cool. Now onto the playoffs. You got 6 games left to go. 1 game away from clinching the Pacific Division. I think that's a foregone conclusion, right? I mean, it's going to happen. The magic number for that is 1, a Phoenix loss or a Kings win. You get the division.
Yeah, and I mean, we play this same Portland team on Friday again. So licking your chops there. There's an easy opportunity. The Kings just saw how the formula to beat them. Hopefully they don't play with their food, kind of like what they did for the first 2.5 quarters. And this, how funny is it that we're 3.5 hours in here and we're kind of just now starting to break down last night's game, because that's just it wasn't even about last night's game.
It wasn't about
it's about everything else that goes along with it. But man, you hope that this is just the start of the celebration. We could just keep knocking off those milestones. After that, 50 wins.
50 wins. And the schedule is favorable. You got Portland. You got San Antonio coming up. And so you're trending right there. You're right there at that magic 50-win mark.
So close.
All right, Chris and Co. We'll be back after this short timeout. You're chilling with Drapes and Chris Watkins here on Sactown Sports 1140.
It's Cattles and Rami.
Come back and beat Utah on Saturday night. I was in the building.
Yes, sir.
No more Cattles curse. Get it out of my face.
Man, I'm telling you.
Yeah,
that's been done.
It's gone.
It's the Cattles cookout now. I mean, when you go to the arena, cats is getting cooked.
Cattles and Rami, weekday afternoons from 2 to 6 on Sactown Sports.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find: happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new
new Accord Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda. Yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
It's a myth to think you don't play golf well enough to get fitted for golf clubs. The professionals at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio would argue that playing the game with golf clubs properly fitted to your body and swing characteristics is the best way to improve your game and have more fun on the golf course. With a professional staff of fitters, all the major brands of equipment, and cutting-edge technology featuring TrackMan, the indoor-outdoor Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio is worth a look. See for yourself. Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway. Schedule your fitting at 916-808-2531. 808-2531.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave telling you something you already know, which is your time is important. That's why at American Energy Heat and Air, they make shopping for a new furnace or air conditioner easier with their new online quoting tool. All you got to do is go to AmericanEnergyAir.com and get an instant quote now, today. Do it right now. It'll help you determine what system you'll need to get and provide the best pricing options, all from the comforts of your home. You don't have to have somebody come out and walk around your house and blah, blah, blah. Just do the quoting tool. It's so easy. AmericanEnergyAir.com. Check out how easy it can be. A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. I absolutely love these folks. 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com, making the uncomfortable comfortable.
Call 91520-9990 now.
Kevin Lewis of National Garage Door. Whether you need to repair a broken spring, install a new opener, or buy a quality Rainer door, National Garage Door is here for you. Call us today to see how we can transform your house with a new garage door.
638-4554 National Garage Door.
Keeping you company with the company. It's Chris and Company with Chris Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Final segment here on Chris and Co. with Drapes and Chris Watkins. Having a blast here talking about your Sacramento Kings heading to the postseason. First time in a generation. We're talking 17 years. The last time the Kings made the playoffs. Can you name the starting five? I'm going to put you on the spot.
Mike Bibby. Bing. Kevin Martin. Really?
I don't think Kevin Martin started. No, he wasn't there. No.
I know Bonzi Wells.
Bing.
Ron Artest.
Ding.
Was there.
Yep.
Brad Miller.
Yep.
And let's go.
If you don't get this one, bro, we're going to have to square up.
This is Sharif Abdul.
Let me text my guy right now. K9 himself.
Oh, my
Kenny
God. That's
Thomas,
so disrespectful. I'm sorry, Kenny. Oh, my God. I'm sorry, Kenny.
The funny thing is, if you ask Kenny about it, he was the leading scorer, the leading rebounder. He is the leading assist man. Like, he was the dude on that squad, if you ask Kenny about it. Oh, that is awesome, man.
Oh, sorry, Kenny. Oh, I'm so sorry, Kenny. Oh,
that is great. That's right. My guy, Kenny Thomas, 2006
K9,
Sacramento
man.
Kings.
No,
K9.
He put in his time for sure. He definitely deserves the respect to get named in that starting five.
Exactly.
Sure. I'm sorry, Kenny.
Exactly. Kenny is our guy. Hey, we're going to wrap it up here. Final segment here before we get into Cattles and Rami. I got one more phone call I want to get to. Joey's been hanging on line one. Joey jumping on here with Drapes and Chris. What you got, Joey?
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely.
Hey, I was going to ask you guys, now that you guys are fans of the Kings, and Chris, you've probably been a fan forever.
Long time.
But who is your favorite now Kings player? Like mine's the monster Sabonis.
Okay.
What's your guys's? And I call him the monster. The monster.
What do you guys call him on NBC Sport? Dominator?
The Dominator, not the Terminator, the Dominator. Yeah, that's what we call him there. Favorite Sacramento Kings player right now? I'm a big Malik Monk fan. Mm-hmm. I love Malik. Fun. The swag, when he gets rolling, I love Malik Monk. So I'm going to say Malik.
Nice.
My on the
How are you,
floor favorite is I'm a Trey Bay man. You know, I'm a day one Trey Lyles supporter.
Okay.
I just love the energy that Trey brings, and I've always kind of been one of those. I don't, you know, the stars are obviously the stars, but you know, it's about the other guys too, the guys that don't get their shine. Big fan of Trey, and I love Keegan off the floor as well. Just he's so funny. He's such a nice kid. Like you can't help but not root for Keegan Murray.
Yeah, and that's the thing about this squad. They're full of likable guys.
Yes, for sure.
And one thing I want to mention really quickly, how awesome is it, guys, to see De'Aaron Fox smile, to have fun, and to be that dude. Obviously drafted in 17, the franchise cornerstone, the franchise player, but never sniffed the playoffs. Now it looks like he's having fun. He's comfortable being that leader, that guy down the stretch. And I think, you know, the emergence of De'Aaron Fox is one of the key storylines this season.
Yeah, absolutely. You said your favorite player is Sabonis. How are you feeling last season after the Kings moved Tyrese Halliburton? Was it an instant love for
Joey? You still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Was that instant love for Domas?
No, because I really liked Halliburton.
Right.
But I love the fact that, you know, Domas came here and he proved himself.
Right.
And what a vision Monty McNair had to pull the trigger on that and bring that guy here. And I mean, that guy is like, I think Carmichael Dave said it. That guy seriously relates to Sacramento because we all put our hard hats up. We all go to work, and that guy I love to see the heart and the passion behind that guy. And last night was pretty awesome, man. I just sat there and I just smiled and I looked at my mother-in-law who didn't like basketball until watching the Kings, and now we were both smiling like, dang, we're in the playoffs now.
Exactly.
I love it.
Hey, we're going to let your mother-in-law on the Kings bandwagon.
Yeah.
We got room for her. Joey, thanks for calling in, man. Joey, a Kings fan, jumping on with Drapes and Chris here as we take you up to the top of the hour. Just a few more minutes left, my man. I do want to run through what's going on tonight, obviously. The start of the baseball season. So we already know the Giants lost 5-0 to the New York Yankees, but the Oakland A's, they open up their season tonight against Shohei and the Angels, 7 o'clock right here on Sactown Sports, 1140. Baseball is underway, my man.
I cannot believe it. I can't believe it's already here. It feels good. You know, we were talking earlier about how people really just like I can't wait. I'm going to opening night tonight. I'll be there in the Coliseum, get to see Shohei. It's a historical moment. You know, I can't not see a guy who pitches and hits the baseball like he does, not at least once in my life. So I'm excited to be out there. I'm excited for the vibes. You know, it just feels like, you know, baseball season is definitely it's when the weather starts to get good.
Spring hits.
So it's good to see baseball rolling its head around, and hopefully these new rule changes can bring a little bit more enjoyment and a little more watchability to the sport.
I will be watching that tonight. I also will be watching 2 big games in the association in the Eastern Conference.
Biggest game.
The Celtics in Milwaukee, the top 2 teams in the league. This is an Eastern Conference Finals preview right here.
Yeah.
What do you think about that matchup?
It's exactly like you just said. I think this is an Eastern Conference Finals preview here. 2 best teams in the East. It's just these 2 teams always have class. I mean, I'm sure you can speak better than that. Just the playoff series that these 2 teams have been through. It seems like Milwaukee strangely has Boston's number, but you know, Milwaukee also has this has kind of been a proving season for them. You know, they feel like last year was theirs, and they kind of missed out on the opportunity, didn't get to capitalize. They feel like they should have been the ones playing the Warriors in the NBA Finals last night. It'll be interesting to see how these 2 teams just go. Well, do you think they'll go at each other tonight? Also, plug, I know that you're doing a little thing tonight, aren't you?
Me up? Yeah, I got a watch party for the first half of Celtics versus Bucks. Head on over to my IG, Kyle Draper TV. I got the link in there. So I'll be chatting with NBA fans, Celtics fans, Bucks fans, even Kings fans, and we can watch the game together.
That's awesome.
And so I'm looking forward to that match. I think that is the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
I think they will go at it. Even though this game isn't as big as it could have been, Celtics lost the other night to the Washington Wizards. This could have been a matchup for first place in the Eastern Conference.
So good.
But this is one of those games, I think, where if you're the Celtics or the Bucks, you want to send a message,
Right.
right?
Exactly. You want them thinking about this game 2-3 weeks from now when y'all could potentially match up again. Exactly. You want them thinking about, Tatum and Brown are too much to handle. You want them thinking, oh, man, how can we stop Giannis with Brook Lopez?
Yes.
I'm not sure if Middleton's going tonight, but, I mean, how about the game that Giannis and Drew Holiday are coming off of? Drew with the 50-piece. Come
51
on.
last night for Drew Holiday. So that's at 4:30. I'll be doing that watch party.
That's so
then
cool.
after that, Pelicans, Denver.
Yeah.
This is a sneaky matchup
It is.
because this is a big game for the Pelicans
It
right
is.
now, hanging on to that 8th spot.
I'm so glad that we are not in that position. Pelicans are tied right now
Tied
with
with
the
the
Lakers.
Lakers, yeah,
They're only
8-9.
a half game back of Minnesota at the 7 spot. They're only 1.5 games out of being out of the playoffs entirely. So they need to win tonight. I mean, if they lose tonight, they're right on the edge there with OKC and Dallas, who's right on their tail. We see Dallas kind of stepped up their game last night against Philly, but yeah, it's all these games coming down the stretch, man. Like we've been saying, like there's going to be so much movement at the bottom of the West as the season closes down. Every single game is going to be important, and the Kings are going to be a part of that as well. We talk about how our season is clinched. Kings play Denver one more time. They play Golden State another time to end this season.
Dallas,
they play Dallas as well.
exactly.
So they have the Kings are going to have their part in saying how this Western Conference shakes out at the end.
Hey, man, it has been an enjoyable
Dude,
4
so
hours
fun.
with you, man. Just to be a part of this historic moment for Sacramento and to be able to call Sacramento home and to say that, you know what? We got a winner now. We're up.
Right.
We're about to have a division winner. We're about to have a home court top 3 seed in the Western Conference. It's a great day to be a fan of the Sacramento Kings.
It is, and hopefully, this is just the start. But it is really cool that we get to come to all of you today, day following a day that we've all been waiting for 16 seasons now. It's so great to be talking to all y'all the day after the Kings finally clinch that playoff spot.
Yes, sir. Sacramento, light that beam. We are back up. Coming up next, Cattles and Rami, much more on the Sacramento Kings going to the playoffs. Word is they're going to have our guy Doug Christie on the show as well. DC will be joining them. Chris, thanks for having me on with you, man. I appreciate
you. So much. Anytime you want to come on.
You're listening to Chris and Co. here on Sactown Sports 1140. I'm Drapes for Chris. We're signing off. We'll catch you next time.
Peace.
Light that beam.
The last time the Kings had a winning season, you heard this.
Back to the hoop, lays it up, around, and in, and the Arco has gone for score,
Now it's the Beam Team's turn.
The Knicks have it. Here comes Barrett on the run. Stutter step in the lane. Double clutch. Chase down. Blocked by Sabonis. Rocks.